man.
Yeah.
It's heartbreaking. Who are we suing?
Who are we suing?
Oh.
That is so sad.
Emotional damage.
Yeah.
Welcome back to Romancing the Monsters After Dark, because we're recording very late. I'm Em.
Hi, I'm S.
Hi, I'm Seth.
And we have a special guest with us today. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Veronica, Steph's little sister.
We're super excited about that. And she's joining us today because we are recording our episode on the final sequel movie, The Rise of Skywalker.
Dun, dun, dun.
So buckle in, because it might be, I don't know. I don't know what the emotions are going to be today. But because we're doing this after dark, we all have a drink, adult beverage of choice.
Yes.
So how about we quickly tell people what we're drinking?
Sure. I made myself a cocktail. It's rum and cranberry juice and pineapple juice.
Yum.
It looks really good.
It's really good, actually, guys.
I am drinking Mike's Hard Lemonade.
Okay.
Love these. Delicious.
I'm drinking, it's a whole concoction. It's gin with, what did you call it as? Was it daiquiri? Is that, I don't know alcohol. I don't drink.
Daiquiris? Daiquiris?
Yeah, daiquiri. So it's like a daiquiri mix combined with cranberry and, mango cocktail mix and then ice. Very delicious.
I have a Michelob Ultra. I like beer.
That's fine.
Yeah.
So we also have alcohol today because we thought we would play a little game. So basically the game
I know I'm gonna be like plastered by the end of this.
Yeah.
because the game is that whenever one of us is negative, we have to drink. Just a sip, But not like, criticism. That's fine. That's allowed. But, if we're being like outright negative, which I feel like in that corner over there,
Oh, shut up.
it
gonna
might
happen.
happen. Then we drink. The Rise of Skywalker. Seth, do you want to do a brief, summary of what it's about?
When it's discovered that the evil Emperor Palpatine has returned,
The dead speak.
the rebels must face. I can't even read it, guys. Okay, I'll try it again. Sorry about that. Okay. When
I
it's
feel that
discovered
should
that
be
the
a
evil
sip
Emperor
already.
Palpatine has returned, the rebels must face against the clock to find out his whereabouts. Finn and Poe lead the resistance to put a stop to the First Order's plans
Is she
for a new
running
empire,
through it?
while Rey anticipates her inevitable confrontation with Kylo Ren.
She just
Warning, some
wants to be
flashing
done with the
light scenes
episode.
in this film may affect photosensitive viewers, and the end.
Thanks everyone for joining us. We'll see you next week. Like, what the hell was
Bye.
that?
I was like, I'm not even gonna waste my time making a synopsis. I'll drink.
Yeah, I think, you should. All right, so that was that, if you understood any of that. But first, what do we think of this movie? We'll start with our guest. What do you think of this movie? So, well, actually, first of all, you're new here, so how about you tell us a little bit about your history with Star Wars, how you came to, be a fan, Raylo as well, of course.
So, I've always known about Star Wars, but I didn't really get into it until I met James, my fiance. And it wasn't until I met him and we started dating, and then I always told him I wanted to get into the movies, that he let me borrow his movies. And so I remember I started watching them, and then after I would finish watching them, he would have me text him to think what I thought of the movies.
Also, it was
And-
like a bonding thing.
Yeah.
So how did you start it? Did you like the prequels and then the originals, or did you like the original trilogy and then prequels?
The prequels, then the trilogies, and then from there on I got hooked with all of it.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, it wasn't until I met him that he got me into and introduced me and told me everything that is Star Wars. And yeah, he has a tattoo on his forearm. So it's a stormtrooper. But yeah, so it was from him. Yeah, and then once their story came out, I love everything about them. I love Daisy Ridley, and like I love how she portrays the character, Adam Driver, and it's really good. I love it. I love it all. I don't really like the second movie, but that's just
Interesting.
yeah.
Huh.
So, The Rise of Skywalker. Transport yourself back when you first saw it. Did you like this movie when it first came out? Were you satisfied with what happened? The conclusion to Rey and Ben's story?
Not really. I feel like we were robbed of something that could have been greater. Their love story could have been way
Retweet.
could have been way better. I feel like it was kind of rushed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Before Seth can say anything, because we know your opinions on the matter, but if they were to, like, say tomorrow morning, like, we are doing episodes 10, 11, and 12, and it's Rey and Ben again, would you be interested? Like, would you watch them?
Yes.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I would watch them too. I just won't I'm not having my hopes
I don't
up.
know that you would. You're a little scarred.
Yeah.
Which makes sense, I'm not, but I have my tinfoil hat on every day, and I am still very optimistic. I believe in the dream, okay? So this is part 3 of 3 of us trying to make you into a Reylo. So you've now seen the whole thing from The Force Awakens to The Last Jedi to this one twice. There were no nachos involved this time around, or at least not that I know of. We didn't have to bribe you. How did you like The Rise of Skywalker?
I really liked it.
I love that you do, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you found pleasure in it. That's great.
Yeah, like I can appreciate the story for what it was and what it could have been.
Okay.
Yeah.
I also understand Seth's emotion, and well, both of your guys's. Like I understand like the way it ended and like how much it affected you girls.
Yeah.
I did get teary-eyed at the end.
Yeah.
Just kind of thinking back of our conversations that we had with the first 2 movies, and just getting to see them as a couple and how they progressed, and I did get emotional at the end. But I really liked it. I think I can say that I'm in my Reylo era right now.
Really?
Yeah.
She's saying that. She's actually saying that. I feel like I'm ascending. Goodbye.
Oh my gosh, S, this is amazing.
I mean, better late than never. I'm here.
Yeah, of course.
I have arrived.
Are you in the club
Yeah.
with the tinfoil hats now?
Yeah.
Nice. I'm recruiting, so good, great. Steph, we all know this was a different.
I mean, I feel like I've been pretty vocal throughout this whole series.
Yeah.
It's not my favorite movie.
Prepare
at
your
all.
drink. Maybe you should just hold the drink in your hand the whole time.
I will do that. Yeah, it's not my favorite movie. To be honest, though, I started it and I was like, okay, it's my time to heal. Let me just watch this movie, because it's just it's just a movie. It should not have this powerful impact on me. That's like my mindset going into this, like the second time, because I haven't watched it since I watched it the first time in theaters.
Yeah.
So this is the first time since 2019 that I picked it up to watch it, and I was like, I was actually enjoying parts of it until I knew what was coming. Like the waterworks started happening, like when he was talking to Han, like in the memory. And like I could not stop crying, to the point where I paused it, and like all my hatred came back again, and like I just felt like what was the point throughout like the rest of the movie, and like I don't know, it just made me despise it again. Like I despise it. Like there's no other way to say it.
Yeah. Personally, I feel like the past 2 years I've seen clips of it around,
Yeah.
you know, on social media and stuff. So I wasn't like as cut off from it as I feel like you were. So
Yeah.
I went into this thinking like, oh, I'll probably be fine, you know. Like I've seen the death capitalized a couple too many times and like fan edits and stuff. But I will say it's a different experience when you actually see the whole thing, especially because we've been watching them, you know, kind of back to back. So, you know, the whole story kind of hits you a little bit more that way.
Yeah.
It was kind of the same as you, I would say, where there were parts of it that I enjoy. I think there are moments of brilliance in this movie, just like symbolic things.
Yeah.
But there are also moments that you're like, that is dumb. Why is this here? Why are we spending time on
Like
this?
the script.
Or even just like moments that you can clearly see that they were pandering to a particular segment of the fandom. We can talk about it specifically, you know, everything that relates to Rey's story and that progression. That kind of felt like, sorry for lack of a better word, but like a fuck you to all of us female fans that, you know, grew really, really attached to this character and
Yes.
felt like our story was being represented through hers, you know, that we were kind of going on our own little heroine journey, you know, through her, and then that happened. So, yeah. But, you know, there are great things about this movie that we can talk about. And if you forget about, you know, the scene, capitalized, you know, the Reylo stuff is interesting.
Yeah. And for me, it wasn't just like the scene. It was just like the overall, like, I guess, arc of their story. I was like, what was the point? And like, that's what was making me emotional. I was like, what the hell was the point then? Even for Ben's character and like all of that. But I mean, there are good parts there.
But can we agree that, you know, if you forget the fact that he had to die, supposedly, whatever, would we all agree that, like, his story, his arc was probably the best out of all the characters, like the most complete?
Yes,
Yeah.
I would agree with that.
So let's start with where the movie begins, aka Kylo, now Supreme Leader, Kylo Ren, literally going on a rampage on Mustafar,
Yes.
which is the coolest, hottest thing ever.
Kylo Daddy.
His
Yeah.
sweaty locks.
Oh,
He
girl,
knows.
he is sweaty, he is bloody, he is out for business, and it's a great start to a movie, I have to say.
Yes, I will admit, an amazing start. I was like, yes.
So what is he there for?
He's there for the Path Wayfinder,
Yes,
Right.
right? The Wayfinder.
the Exegol.
So he needs that to track down Palpatine because now Palpatine has announced he has a podcast across the universe in which he announced, I'm back, bitches.
Like, and I love how they don't have an actual explanation as to how he's back. They're like, somehow Palpatine has returned, and even like Kylo is like, yeah, I'm gonna go find him. Like, how, can you at least tell me how he came back? Like,
But also, can you explain to Ash, because I don't know if she knows, like, how he even died and why it doesn't even make sense that we don't even get an explanation for why he's back? How did Palpatine die?
James explained a little bit of it
Okay.
yesterday. I feel like, right, Vettel, that was
Yeah.
something he brought up when in regards to him and Anakin, right? And how it was pointless for him to. It was pointless for the writers to bring him back because it kind of ruined what Anakin and his
Yeah.
story and what he went through, right?
Yeah.
this is my problem. It's like, this is why I can't watch any Star Wars. I'm like, what's the fucking point? What is the point of all of it anymore? Sorry, I'll take a drink.
Retweet. Yeah. Well, yeah, because I believe how he died isn't he supposed to have like exploded with the Death Star or something like that?
I believe so. I honestly, guys, I have not watched the original trilogy in forever.
Like the second Death Star, was that not? Did he?
Yeah, it was the
implode
second
with
Death Star.
that?
I think it was Anakin that fought him, and also
Yeah.
Luke, right? And then
I don't know. Listen. Anyway, long story short, he should not be.
he was blown to smithereens
In one piece.
at that point.
So, okay, so he died in those movies, and it was pointless to bring him back for this third one. How do you think Rey's story should have played out? Do you Do you think there's a scenario that could have worked better
Yeah.
than that? Do tell.
Well, my theory, when we first learned that Palpatine was going to be a thing, I thought that we would have a kind of like Horcrux type of situation where he is not alive, but remnants of his energy and his spirit live in the galaxy within these like objects or whatnot that you know are creating these like, I don't know, like this dark energy that must be, you know, vanquished. I thought that was what was gonna happen here. I didn't think he was gonna literally live on life support, but live on.
Who was moving that? Like, I don't understand.
I
It
don't
kept moving
know.
around, and I'm like,
But does he stay attached to that like 24/7? My dude is
He's
just like
just
hanging on
dangling.
there. Yeah, like a puppeteer,
I was
literally.
like, come on, man. They could have made that look a little better. I mean, for me personally, I would have liked for her to stay as Rey Nobody. You know, like she made her own path in this like universe or this galaxy, and like, you know, she was her own person, and she wasn't just reduced to a vessel for men.
I think I would have liked that. What Seth said. Rey Nobody.
Yeah, I loved Rey Nobody.
And I was a Palpatine. I was a Rey Palpatine after TFA. Because I liked the idea of it, that he was like the son of a Skywalker. She was the granddaughter of a Palpatine. But then they introduced Rey Nobody. And I was like, you know what? That means more. You know, that means something. It's like this nobody person that doesn't actually have a place within this family saga actually represents all of us in our own lives. You know, we are all nobodies who have to make our own path and find our own way and find the story that suits us, you know. So I fell in love with that idea, and then they were like, no, you have his power. Yeah,
That line aggravates me to no end.
oh, we'll get to it. We'll
Okay.
get to it. So anyways, he's doing his whole rampage. He finds Palpatine on life support on his new planet Exegol, and basically we learn that Palpatine was the puppet master, would you believe it, this whole time, that Snoke was a creation. I still can't believe that one. And that he was every voice in Ben's head. Ben never talked to his grandpa through the Force. Nobody ever reached out to him.
So anytime he was talking to his grandpa, it wasn't actually his grandpa. He was being manipulated, and basically, yeah.
It's darker than that. Like, he was being traumatized and groomed from the womb.
Yeah.
And this whole time, he thought he had this connection with his grandfather, and it wasn't his grandfather. It
Yeah.
was
Oh,
Palpatine.
that makes it more sad.
It's
Yeah,
depressing.
It's horrible. Like, this is like real actual trauma, and it's not dealt with.
Nope.
It's disregarded. We'd love to see it. That was very sad. And then basically Palpatine is like, find me the, what does he say? I don't, like, honestly, I don't care that much.
The script is so bad, I literally just like tuned it out and just looked at him the whole time. I'll drink.
What, like, what does he say? Basically, he's asking,
Him to kill her, no?
yeah.
Palpatine is asking him to kill, and then I guess he shares the story of who she is or what she is.
Yeah, basically Kylo is like, I'll kill you. But then, you know, Palpatine is like, oh, I'll raise this army and I'll make you, you know, supreme leader of the whole galaxy, basically. You
Yeah.
know, isn't he already? But, like, whatever. Now he would have, like, an army that he already has, but, you know, whatever.
He'll have this like the Sith army because like they like resurrected.
Right? Where did they come from? See, it's stuff like this, like, why, where, when, how? We don't care about those questions. It looks cool. It looks cool, so we might as well do it. That was the thought.
That was I think that was the mentality behind that. They had no proper actual reason for Palpatine returning. They had no proper reason or an explanation as to how like this random army of the Sith came about.
Yeah.
So they've just been sitting there for like decades, years?
Underground.
God.
Underground.
Light years or
He
whatever.
just somehow I don't know. When you start thinking about it, this movie is full of stuff like that. You're just
Plot
like,
holes.
how? And then they just, throw in really flashy stuff, and they're like, don't think about it. You never saw it. Don't think about it too hard.
That was one of my things that I didn't like about this movie, that it was too dark.
It's a horror movie.
It's yeah, but like I could barely see my.
Oh, you mean like literally dark?
No, like literally too dark. Like I had my,
Your brightness all the way
the
up.
brightness like really
Yeah.
bright, and even
Yeah.
then it was too dark.
Yeah,
I'm like
no.
had to like squint like to see like what is happening. Who...
Oh my gosh, the blue tint.
the fucking blue.
It reminded me of Twilight.
I remember that pre this movie, we were seeing all the blue, and we were like, oh, this is great. This is great. Blue means redemption. Like Redemptionists were, in the streets, like, crying in joy because we were
Yeah.
like, blue. It's so blue. But then you actually watch the movie and you're like, I'm fucking sick of the blue. Can we have another
No, but
color?
it went even deeper as we would even like analyze like the title card, and it was purple. No, it's blue, but then like we settled on it was purple because it's a mix of red and blue, and like it was like Ben's redemption. He's the Skywalker that rises.
Yeah. Before TLJ, I don't know if you'll remember this, but like everything that we thought was gonna happen in TLJ actually happened. Like we predicted that movie from, the whole movie basically. This time around, it was the exact opposite, where they just said nope. Everything that we thought was gonna make sense and be symbolic in some way, it was like, no, sorry. The purple is just purple because it is, and
It's just purple. Looks cool.
it's blue because it's blue.
So no
and
hidden hearts and like
none of that. No.
No.
hands reaching towards each other.
They covered up her damn scar, and it wasn't even in the right spot.
They were telling me, Metal, they brought up something about him having like a little heart in his eyes. I think in like the second movie,
No, the first one.
the first one, and then there was like a heart shape in like the ground.
Interrogation scene. He has like little hearts in his eyes, and then when they're
And-
after the fight on Starkiller Base, the like ground opens up, and then it's like a heart shape where he is.
Like I didn't see none of this. I didn't see none of this, but they sent me like screenshots and stuff, or like pointed out. I was like, oh, okay,
You're a believer now.
I get it. I see it.
Are you, Veronica, are you active on social media with Raylo, or were you active during that time with social media with Raylo?
I was active during the time, and now not so much anymore.
Okay.
Yeah.
Were you like on like Twitter and like
Reddit, Tumblr.
and like YouTube?
I think I was still on Tumblr.
Yes,
And
Tumblr
Twitter.
was where it was at.
Yeah, but I would get like the pictures or like the fan art from Tumblr.
Yeah. Were you like a part of like that fandom, like, that wore the tinfoil hat and like we all were like, this is gonna happen and like this means that? Like, were you part of like the theorizing during the time of the movies?
No, I don't know. I don't think so. I was, because now I'm trying to think back on it.
You're just waiting for the movies to come out.
Yeah.
Whatever you got handed to you,
Yeah.
you accepted.
You probably saved yourself
Yeah,
A
I
lot
kinda
of
wish I was
pain.
like that.
a lot of
With this one.
disappointment.
So they were spoiled. They got spoiled on Twitter with the ending of.
Yeah.
Rise of
So
Skywalker.
they
Yeah.
found out what happens before seeing the movie.
There's one thing that I learned from James. Well, many things, but this one thing, whenever like a movie's gonna come out that we're anticipating, like he does like a few months before, like if we see anything that has to do with it, we like automatically scroll when we're on social media, or like a week before or a few days before like a movie's about to drop, like we do like media blackout.
Oh.
So we don't, because he's had things spoiled for him too.
Yeah.
So then he'll be like, don't go on Twitter, don't go on this, don't go on that. If you see something, just keep scrolling. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
For this film, though, like, do you think you would have wanted to be spoiled to, like, at least prepare? Or do you like that you weren't spoiled going into this movie?
I like that I wasn't spoiled. Yeah, because I feel like once I know, I'm like, I don't want to watch it. I don't want to. I don't really care for it anymore.
Oh, okay.
I think it kind of ruins, for me, it ruins it. So I'm just like, oh, I'm glad I didn't get spoiled. I enjoyed it. You know, I was very sad when like all the emotions I had going in it the first time. So I was like, oh, shocked here. And then like, you know, like, oh, sad there. And
Yeah. Did you cry when he died, or you kept your cool?
No, yeah. I think I remember I gasped really loud and my eyes did I got teary eyed. And I was like, oh. It's like, what? For me, I was like, why? I don't understand. Why does he have to die?
The question we all have.
I don't remember none of that.
You don't?
Oh, because you were there. That's right, with the nacho.
Because I was there, yeah. Because I was there. I went with them, so I don't remember what her emotions were.
I think you were confused because you didn't know what was going on, like, to begin with.
She was just munching on the nachos.
Right, I can just imagine us being like, oh, okay, yeah, he just died. This is great, though. These nachos. They apparently, Ray and Ben, apparently have no Force connection this whole time during a whole year. We don't believe that, but apparently so.
I'm 100% sure, like, Force hate sex happened, but I can't confirm it.
Absolutely.
Force, what is it, sexting? Force sexting? They probably had
that. Force timing. Was that it?
Force timing, yeah. Force Skyping. But, they
know.
used the Force in inappropriate ways. I will not
I'm 100% certain. I just
otherwise.
can't prove it.
But apparently, this movie tells us that they have not spoken in a year, because this is a year after TLJ.
To the public. They don't want to tell the public they've been speaking.
But wasn't there something not that long ago that came out that was like, it's a story that's set in between TLJ and Tross that's coming out at some point, either this year or next year, where it kind of...
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure I saw something about that, yeah, and people were kind of freaking out because it was like, why are they going back on the fact that they supposedly didn't talk, but now they're talking?
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyways, so the first time that they actually do reconnect is when she's doing her whole, like, you know, training course
session.
Yeah, in the forest. And she kind of does what she naturally does, which is channel a little bit of darkness. And simultaneously, Kylo is in his quarters, his bedroom, and he's looking at his grandfather's helmet, Vader's helmet, and he's apparently kind of trying to reconnect with it, which at this point he knows that what he was hearing, you know, when he was meditating with this mask, was not actually his grandfather. So what do you think the intent was when he actually goes back and, like, seeks it out again?
I don't even know. Maybe it was just, like, just to see if what Palpatine was saying was true. Like, he didn't actually have a connection to his grandfather that he thought he had, and he was just like, how did he not know? Like, I don't know. Like, he was looking at it in a way that he was just, like, asking for answers.
That makes me even more sad because he really was alone.
Yep.
He
so alone until he met Rey.
And in my Horcrux theory, the mask was one of them. Obviously. I was like, obviously, remnants of Palpatine could be in that mask, and that would be how he's hearing voices that are evil and that are not actually Vader or Anakin, however you want to see it. Like, that would be, like, Palpatine kind of corrupting his mind through the mask and through the persona of his grandfather.
Yeah.
Why didn't they call me? I could have written
that was
movie.
A great theory, Marge. I'm sorry.
I know. Thank you. Me and Reddit. You know? I can't really claim that as my own. It was a lot of people's theory, but...
Yeah.
So they do actually kind of connect. It's not like one of those forced connections where they actually talk to each other, but they clearly share a vision of some kind. Like, they see each other's pain, each other's past. Yeah. We have a little shot of Rey's mom, because now she has parents. Anyways.
Are you not gonna drink? That was a little negative.
Yeah, that was. I felt the vibes.
I feel like I've been
there was a little tone.
This shit is delicious, by the way.
That's great.
And here comes the line, the first line in this movie that makes me absolutely want to rage. Can you take a guess?
I mean, all I'm thinking about is I'm going to like earn your brother's saber, but then
Ding ding ding. That's exactly
okay,
why.
10 points for Sephra.
Take a drink.
Yeah, I will earn your brother's saber one day.
I hate that line. I hate
Why?
the script.
Wait, why? Explain.
The script is just awful. Like, why does she
Yeah.
have to earn that saber? She's been using it for so long. She, like, proved that she is a Jedi.
The saber chose her in The Force Awakens. She earned it in that moment on Starkiller Base against Kylo. It went to her. It was hers from that point on. And also, it is not the brother's saber, it's Anakin's. That is a
Yeah.
rewrite that really pisses me off. It was Anakin's first. Like, Luke literally used it for 3.5 seconds and then got his own.
Yeah, in his first film, he only used it and then he made his own, right? Like, he had a green
Yeah.
one. So I don't understand why it's, like, automatically Luke's saber. It's not. It is Anakin's saber.
Because this movie is Luke propaganda, okay? And
it's
I will
like
not
pro-Luke.
stand for it.
Make Luke great again.
Do you like Luke, Beto? Is he like a character that...
No.
Oh, that's James's favorite character.
Oh. Okay.
Oh.
So we can trash talk. Now I know what to talk about when I go to dinner.
He's gonna go, how dare you?
I will say, we talked about it in our, like, The Last Jedi episode. I liked Luke in The Last Jedi because he, like, had flaws and because he, like, was human for a second and he wasn't, like, portrayed as, like, this glorified savior, like this god that he was
Yeah.
portrayed in this one as well.
So were you more of a fan of, like, Anakin?
Yeah.
As you really need to give Anakin and Padme a try.
I think she
Yeah.
said she will.
Yeah.
She told
I
me
am.
this afternoon
will?
that she's gonna.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that can always be a series for the podcast. You had to rewatch those.
I shall go back and start from the beginning.
I mean, I feel like you just have to watch 2 and 3. You don't need to watch 1.
The first one's
You
a
don't
little
need-
creepy, I will say.
It is.
The first one?
Yeah.
Is it?
Why? I didn't know watching. I won't say why, but like I didn't know watching that movie that.
Well, I have to watch it. I need to know why it's creepy. I can't just skip it now.
And it's just not, I don't know. It's
not good.
It wasn't talked about.
Yeah.
No, I mean it wasn't bad. I feel like it was a good origin story for Anakin and like to see his mom. Okay, fine. I'll flat out say it. There's like a big age gap between Padme.
Nobody prompted you. You're just like, okay, fine. Stop harassing me. I'll tell you.
Shut up. So there's a big age gap between Padme and Anakin, but like he's a baby basically. He's like
Yeah.
4, and she's
So
like
is
13.
that what that was? One of you sent me a fan made video, and I saw her with and it kind of insinuated
Steph, yeah.
Padme and like a little blonde boy with like a bowl cut.
Yeah, that's Anakin.
yeah.
So there's an age gap between them,
Yeah.
and they were chilling when he was young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But they don't see each other after that movie for like years until like
Yeah.
Anakin's like a full on Padawan, like grown.
Are you an angel? That's what he said.
But their love story doesn't start until the second and third. It's
Yeah.
not-
Yeah. The third one is like absolutely one of my favorites.
Agreed.
He's got the scar, he's got the shoulder length hair.
Yeah.
Basically like Ben Solo, but his grandpa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got the angst, the emo-ness about him.
No, but if you do want to watch that for the podcast, I'll do it because I want to see Darth Maul's introduction again.
I have not seen those movies probably in like 15 years. Anyways, so we get to the somehow Palpatine has returned.
And then they go off on their trip to find a wayfinder to get to Exegol,
Right.
and they land on Pisana, which is where they have to go.
I noted that at this point in the movie, Rey is already kind of set apart from everyone else. Like, you can already see that she's feeling quite, lonely. She's going back to being isolated and, like, acting like that's totally fine. And, you can kind of see that she's a little shaken, a little lost. And she's trying to say things, but there's no room for it. And this is your first clue that it's like, we're having emotions, but we don't have time to process them. So,
That's exactly this
yeah.
movie.
So Kylo is repairing his mask for reasons.
I don't know why.
For the red hot glue.
Yes,
For
the hot glue
red
gun.
glue.
Yeah.
They supposedly were going for this like kintsugi art thing, which is like basically this Japanese art thing where you know, when things break, you kind of glue them back together with gold, and then like eventually the thing that was once broken is actually more valuable after it's been broken, because now it's like, you know, it's art and there's gold, so it's like, you know, more valuable. So like the whole thing is like, you are not it's not your faults or what you've gone through, your trauma is not it doesn't weaken you as a person. It actually makes you stronger and more beautiful, and you should value those things about yourself, type of thing. Supposedly they were going for that.
Did it deliver? Did it portray that?
Did you feel that watching it, as?
No.
No.
The mask was just there.
Yeah.
It had no
was
purpose,
just
and then he
there.
took it off, and then
He was in that goddamn mask too much in that movie.
because I'm standing by that theory that it wasn't Adam Driver. I'm standing by that theory.
Now,
They did a lot of
who's
reshoots.
wearing a tinfoil hat now?
Wait, what do you mean?
Come on, they made the man like record his last line in a closet. He was not there.
Yes, in November 2019, and the movie came out in December 2019, and that man was in his closet recording lines.
He had to go in his closet because he wasn't like he couldn't go back on like wherever, like on set or wherever to film it.
Conspiracy theories.
Really?
Yeah.
So people, like a lot of us believe that they literally rewrote that movie in November and changed a lot of it.
People think that the Ray Palpatine stuff wasn't a thing until November.
Really?
Because I think that all the lines that are related to that, like whenever he says like, oh, you have his power, you're his granddaughter, blah, 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 like all of that is under the mask.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I don't know. We'll never know. Or maybe we will, and that will be tea. A lot of tea. I feel it will be spilled at some point, maybe, and that will be great. So it's prepared for some reason, and he says, because, you know, you're right, she's now in Pasana, and he says, my knights and I are going hunting for the scavenger.
She's prey.
What kind of line is that?
A sexy one.
Like, please, hunt me down, daddy. So Rey is looking at the children on Pasana, and,
What was the point?
I mean, there's so much longing in how she's looking at those kids.
That's the feeling I got. Like she's longing for, I don't know, like I guess like a life,
family.
a family,
Yeah,
like
family.
a sense of belonging that she did
Yeah.
find with Ben. And like the natural idea, I guess, thought that comes is like family with children, maybe. Like I don't know where they were going with that.
Or even maybe, like, freedom from responsibility that you get to have when you're a kid. You know, maybe that,
True.
too, is a part of it. It's just, like, seeing kids just being kids and thinking, like, she was never a kid. She never
Yeah.
got that chance because she had to grow up. She had to fend for herself. She was alone on this planet since the age of 6, you know, so she never got that.
And she never had friends. So I think maybe like the idea of seeing all these kids like laughing and having fun together, it's just like a reminder that she never had that. Even
Yeah.
now she doesn't have that because she doesn't confide in her friends that she has. I was gonna say supposedly, but I didn't.
How's your drink looking, Seth? Is it half empty? Oh, no,
It was
not
like
bad.
here. So
Okay.
I'm not bad.
You know, we get introduced here to the whole concept that apparently now in Star Wars your last name matters. Because the little girl, you know, she's like, who are you? And she's just like, Rey.
It wasn't a
And
little
the
girl, it was a
girl's-
grown woman, Marge.
Was it a grown woman? No, it wasn't.
No, it was a
It
kid.
was a little girl. It was
No,
a child.
it was like
Yeah,
a
yeah,
grown
no.
woman.
No,
I
it was
thought
a child.
Let me see.
that thing was
bad.
not a grown woman.
I mean, to be honest, I only watched this movie twice, so don't ask me.
It was a kid because she kneeled down.
It could have been
Let me see.
a species of alien that was, you know, shorter,
Maybe.
vertically challenged.
No, I'm pretty sure it's a child. Because even how 3PO is talking about the child seems like a little... Like, oh, she it would be a great honor for you to give her your last name. You know, like, it sounds childish to me.
What does she sound like?
Is that gonna help us? She's an alien. That's a child.
It sounds like a grown woman.
Her name is Nambi Kima.
That's an excellent name. I'm Ray.
She would be honored to know your family name too.
Guys, I think that's a grown alien woman.
No,
I don't have one.
So.
I'm just Ray.
I won't accept that they would undermine a grown woman that way with those kinds of questions. Like that's what
Okay.
the child would ask.
Okay.
Anyways, long story short, Ray is not enough. We need last names now to
Yeah.
be important, and it's a
Drink.
supposedly a great honor.
Take a sip.
Well, yeah, so we saw in that scene that the alien woman, child, whatever, gives
That's
her
worse.
like a necklace, like a beaded necklace,
Right,
and
I think that's a
um,
drink.
how is that negative? I don't know. I don't
I
want
heard
to
a tone.
assume that they're a woman or a child. I don't
there
know.
was a tone. Yeah.
It's fine. Let's go.
I'll drink. Yeah. Anyways, what I was saying is that she gives her this this necklace, like a beaded necklace, that everyone was convinced it was like a fertility necklace.
Because it is. No, it literally is in the visual dictionary.
Oh, it is?
That
Like, it was confirmed?
Yeah, it's a fertility festival.
And
And the beads are supposed. It's a fertility necklace. And you know who rips it off of her?
Okay, this is what I wanted to get at.
Her future baby daddy.
He rips it off, like, you know how we watch the Phantom of the Opera. He rips it off like the Phantom.
Yeah.
Ugh.
It's hot.
When like the Phantom was like, "You belong to me," and he rips it off her neck. Yeah, that's the vibe I was getting. Like Ray belongs to
Yeah.
Kylo.
But before we get there, I just wanted to say that in this scene, Ray seems very okay with being just Ray.
Yeah,
But then 5 minutes later, she's like, maybe not. And I was just like, why? Like, we were finally getting to a point where being just Ray was enough. Mm-hmm. You can be just Ray. You don't need to be, even if you have a family name, you don't have to, you know, it's not something that you need to, like, prove or achieve or, like...
there's so many people in this world that like don't like identify with their last name, like they are no longer a part of their family, but like that doesn't mean they're not successful or like they're not like a person in society. Like I don't understand why the importance of a last name in this movie was like so like hammered in. I don't understand that.
So it's daytime, and then suddenly it's nighttime, and the fires are going, and there's a connection that happens.
What was the change of time zone I did? What was the point of changing it from night to day?
I think just the visual representation that, like, ooh, something is happening, and maybe it's nighttime for him, and his nighttime is affecting hers.
Rian Johnson didn't need that. Okay, I'll drink.
It looked cool, okay? It looked great. And basically what he says is, Palpatine wants you dead, and then he says, he really doesn't, you know, miss a beat, and he's like, I offered you my hand once. You wanted to take it. Why didn't you? And she fires back with, you could have killed me. Why didn't you? And she's referring to the throne room scene in TLJ where he could have killed her, but instead he chose to kill Snoke. And then he says, you can't hide, Rey. Not from me. And she says, I see through the cracks in your mask. You're haunted. And then he says, do you still count the days since your parents left? Such pain in you. I don't want to have to kill you. When I offer you my hand again, you'll take it. And then she finally says, we'll see. And that's a throwback to TFA interrogation scene when he says, we'll see.
Yeah.
But basically, like, they're, you know, kind of firing stuff at each other, kind of, like, poking and being like, why are you being, you know, why are you doing these things with me that you wouldn't do with other people?
Yeah.
Why are you, you know, not killing me? What's going on here? You
The
know?
tension is still very much palpable there. Like, you can feel like there is, like, some, like, not bad blood, but, like, they're hurt from each other, from, like, the last time they saw each other.
Yeah, but he's very cocky and confident. He's like, next time I offer you my hand, you will take it.
He said a lot of lines that were like, okay.
Yeah.
I was dying.
But also the way that she says, we'll see. Like, there's so much anger in that word. Like, we'll see.
Was this the scene where he talked about her parents, though? Like, actually, like revealed that they sold her protect
No, I
her.
don't
That's
think so.
further-
That's after Kijimi.
Okay, well, that was another line I hated.
Yeah.
Anyway.
No, here he just like, says like, do you still count the days since your
Yeah.
parents left?
Okay.
Kind of throwing back that fact in, because he's seen it. He has seen that. He has seen that she counted the days. He has seen that loneliness.
Yeah, remember in her, the place that she was living, she had like the little tally marks?
Yeah.
So he's referring back to that.
Yeah.
So has he seen that?
Yeah.
Going
Yeah.
into her mind, does he see all that? Her sitting down by herself eating by
Yeah.
herself?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. And then he rips the necklace off of her, and it's very
Yeah, his
hot.
phantom moment.
Yeah, but we love to see it. It's a bit of a Kylo TFA moment, when he was doing his little like rage fits and destroying shit. Like I feel like that was a little bit of that flair.
Well, he
That.
he analyzes the necklace and he finds out where they are, and then him and the
Right.
Knights of Ren go to Pisana, and they do their thing. They're fighting them, and then we finally see Kylo's ship coming, and then Rey.
Whoa.
What? Where do you want to go? Where do you want to talk about before that?
Well, first they find themselves like, in the sand, and then like they drop underneath, and then there's the snake, and then she heals the
Oh,
snake.
sorry,
which,
yeah.
Wait,
you know,
rewind to
Yeah.
when they're in the. This is the question, Beto. When they're in the quicksand, right? They're
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
whole gang's there,
Sinking.
and they're sinking
Oh, yeah.
under. And Finn was gonna tell Rey something. What was he gonna tell her? Do you girls know?
Wasn't it that he was force sensitive
yeah.
and he wanted her to know?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
It wasn't that he loved her.
That's what I
No,
thought.
yeah.
See, that's what I thought. And we were yesterday when I was at Veto's house. James brought it up, and he's like, "Do you know what he was gonna say?" And I
Yeah.
thought he was gonna like confess his feelings, but no, it was because he feels the force or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you really see it when he feels like, sorry, at the end, when Rey dies, he feels it. So, like, that means he's in touch with the Force. Like, he felt her death through the Force.
Also, the 18 billion moments in the movie where he's like, just a feeling.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
It's,
Oh, and
yeah,
then
it's
and
just
then
a
I caught
feeling.
on about the feeling where
Yeah,
and I'm just like, okay.
But she heals the snake, which in
Yes.
itself is very symbolic, snake. You can kind of see that as, it's foreshadowing, that she'll heal Ben eventually. Also, this is the first time, well, I was going to say this is the first time that there's force healing, but that's not true because of the whole Grogu thing
Yeah.
came out first, actually,
Yeah.
the week before they introduced force healing. But she does it here. Yeah, I mean, it's, not necessary, but we'll take it.
Yeah, I mean, well, this is to show that, like, she does say it, too. Like, she makes it very explicit. Like, she's giving away some of her life to this I guess, snake. Obviously, I don't know. What was it, a serpent? I don't know. Anyway, so she's giving a part of her life over to heal it. And so, like, I guess it
But
was
shouldn't that drain her?
It didn't, because the snake wasn't dying. Like, it was just hurt.
But why is your life force limited?
How am I supposed to know?
Well, these are the questions. Like, why do we have a limited life force? Not
And
like
why can't you
lifespan,
just share?
life force.
Like, divide it in two and share it. And, like, doesn't it not grow back? Like, your energy, like, once it leaves you, if given enough time, like, you can, like, recuperate. Like, you can recover.
But also, one would think that if you're in a dyad in which you share basically everything with someone else, you are
Yeah.
connected, a power like life itself,
Yeah.
you would think that,
One can't live without the other, yeah.
yeah, but also, like, that you could use that power to then, revive someone without actually dying.
Or
shit.
maybe it's like is it Karanem bond or whatever? Like, and Sarah J. Maas, like Air of
Yeah.
Fire, when they, like, had their, they became, connected in that way. They had that bond, Rowan
Yeah.
and Aelin. Like, they were allowed to share each other's powers. So, like, you kind of would think that the dyad would be like that in the sense where, like, they can share each other's powers and, like, the force that binds them. Marge, you got a drink. That was a whole negative
Oh,
tirade.
sorry. I feel like there's two of us that are drinking a lot and two of us that are not.
I know.
And that's when we get the Rey does the flip over Kylo's
I love that
Superhero
ship.
flip.
What is the point?
No, I love that scene. Take a drink.
But okay, no, honest question. What about it did you love?
It was badass. Just the fact that she feels him coming. She gets into position. She's gonna get ready to flirt with him because that's what they're doing. They're flirting. And she turns and then she runs and plays chicken with him. Or like a version of it. And just the fact that she jumped and did a twirl and a spin.
Yeah.
And then, break something in his.
It looks cool.
It looks cool, yeah. But I will tell you something. So when that trailer first came out, I think it was
Yeah.
the teaser trailer.
Yeah.
Marge and I were watching
the
it, and Gabby were
theories
watching
on
it
that,
religiously.
yeah.
We're like, oh my gosh, I think we figured out what was happening. Like, he's fully turned to the light, and like, they're
We thought
like,
he
he's
was
training her. He's training her. That's
Oh.
why, because like, it did not make sense as to how like she's waiting there,
Yeah,
and he's just coming at her. So we thought she was using the Force to figure out how to do that, and he was training her in like that, whatever they were doing.
Yeah.
It wasn't happening in that
So
way.
for us, this is like the equivalent of like knife to the throat, but it's like intensified for Star Wars.
Yeah. It
I
seemed
can
like
see
they were
that.
flirting.
But let me tell you why it makes no fucking sense. Okay.
Take a drink.
So Ben has no intention of killing her. So why is he going at her on his ship, going straight for her? He's intending to kill her, though he supposedly is not, but he's intending to kill her. He's
Unless
gonna
he
kill her.
believes she was gonna die.
He's taunting her. It's all
Yeah.
part of the
No,
game.
And then she uses her she does this like flip thing that why, and then she uses her saber to cut one of his wings off, and then he goes tumbling. He should have died.
He would have died.
He
would
shoulda
have killed him. Was
died.
that her intention at that point? I don't know.
And then he doesn't die, and he comes out of his ship
Like a fucking
pretty
prince.
much like looking like a prince, you
Yeah.
know?
Hair billowing in the breeze.
Like what? What was the point?
Well, maybe it's like what S said. It was like them flirting, and it was a cute
Yeah.
little rendezvous. And
It's him. I'm thinking like he just wants to taunt her and to see
What she'll
if
do.
she
How she'll react.
and see how far she
Yeah.
would go, because I think he feels her turning to the dark and like tapping into the dark side a lot quicker now.
Well, maybe he thought she would use her lightning against him. Maybe.
Well, I don't think he knew that was something she had. He was just waiting for her to actually like stay in the dark side. Like he feels like that it's a switch that's going to happen anytime soon. He looked really shocked when the lightning came out to play.
Yeah, he looked really in love. He fell in love all over again in that moment.
That too, but he looked really shocked because I think also he believed Chewie was also in that ship, and like Chewie, we know, was Uncle Chewie at that point. So I think he just looked really shocked at her power
he's learning from her, learning what she has to offer.
as his empress.
He crashes, but he's totally fine, and then gets out of his ship, and they have this like tug of war over the transport in which Chewie supposedly is. And again, this is supposed to be a callback to The Last Jedi with the lightsaber, but now it's a ship, and you're supposed to see that they're equal in the Force. The transport is kind of like hovering in between, doesn't know where to go, because they're, equal. Nobody else is their equal except, the other one. Yeah, and then she uses the lightning, and like I said, he looks in love.
Yeah, he looks mesmerized.
Same look as The Force Awakens in the forest when she grabs the lightsaber. It's
Yeah.
just like, oh my god, I just fell in love.
Kylo had a lot of those moments in this movie, I would say. I mean, this man's been in love since movie 1, but
Oh, what we didn't tell you, As, in The Force Awakens, in the forest when she grabs the saber, in the novelization, he says in his head, "It is you."
so this could also be a callback to the rise of Kylo Ren, where like we see that she
Right.
feels, his
His
turn to the dark side as a child, and
Yeah.
that could be a nod to like them feeling each other throughout their life, and
Uh-huh.
he finally realizing that it is you, like you're the one that's been in my head, and like I felt throughout all this time.
Yeah, but it explains like the whole like what girl.
Yes.
He had been seeing a girl, which is
Yeah.
why when he actually does see her using the Force, he goes, "It is you."
So this is a whole fated mate situation. type of thing.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, they are a dyad in the Force. They were made for each other. They are two that are one, you know?
So then Rey gets back on the ship. Chewie is like basically dead. He's not, but they think he is, and nobody really. Again, emotions. We have them. They're fleeting, and then we move on right away because we don't have time for that.
Yeah, she was like, oh my gosh, I killed Chewie. And then she turns around. She's like, all right, time to go. That was literally the vibe I got out during.
So Rey is back on. It's not the. Are they back? No, it's not the Falcon. It's some other ship. And
Ochi's ship. I
Right.
remember that name.
Right.
Yeah.
And she tells Finn that she had a vision of the throne of the Sith and who was on it. And Finn says, Ren. And she says, and me.
And me.
She saw herself sitting on that man's lap on the throne of the Sith.
See, it's like she said throne. Like she didn't say thrones.
Yeah,
You know?
it's singular.
So I'm getting a throwback to Reese and Feyre, you know, her on the throne and like her like, you know, on top of him.
Hux proposes to blow up Kijimi because we're on Kijimi now. We made it to I'm skipping so many
It
things.
doesn't matter. We don't need the context. Just say next Force Bond happens.
Yeah, we're on Kijimi. They're there to reprogram 3PO. And Kylo hears that they're on Kijimi, and Hux proposes to blow up the whole planet, and Kylo is like,
Is that what the finger was? Like to tell him to shut up? Is that what that was?
well, okay, here's the thing. It's a thing that Han did. It's a very like Han thing to do with the
Yeah.
finger pointing thing. So, but basically, how I'm choosing to see it is him basically saying, "Don't you fucking dare hurt my girlfriend." Do you
We're
hear
not
me?
killing her.
Like, don't you dare blow up the planet while she's on there, okay?
Yeah.
And they do a little switcheroo, so Kylo ends up on Kijimi to go find his girlfriend, and she ends up in his quarters, his bedroom. She's literally in his bedroom.
She's in
guys.
his bedroom.
And she sees the shrine, the Vader shrine, and the knife, which, by the way, the knife was literally just there in the sand for like 25 years. It's fine. It's fine. It makes sense. It makes complete sense. Anyways, the map that leads you straight to the Death Star.
No, they found the knife.
In
Before.
the sand with
Yeah.
the snake. Yeah, but it was just there. Like,
It was in his shrine of like dark Sithly things.
Well, yeah, afterwards. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's when they connect again. And that he tells her he knows who her parents are.
And he literally said, they sold you to protect you.
What a lovely, lovely moral for all the kids out there.
Yeah, imagine like knowing your parents sold you to be a slave to quote unquote protect
Your
you.
parents neglected you to save you.
Not even, they made you a slave
Yeah,
to save you. I'll drink.
me too. So anyway, this movie is full of great messaging for little girls especially, but little kids in general, really.
Because to be quite honest, yeah, we all know these movies are made for children. So imagine your child watching this. Yeah.
Yeah, they fight, and it's cool. You know, it looks
Yeah.
great. We see that the Force connection has really progressed since The Last Jedi. Now they're fully kind of interacting with each other's environments and like
Yeah.
bringing each other's environments into the other. Blah blah. Blah.
I will say like the
Um,
shifting of like their scenes was really interesting. Like
Oh, it was
of, like,
done
their-
really well.
yeah, I think it was done really well in this Force Bond.
Yeah. The Bond stuff was A+. You know, like they did a good job on that front. And so you see that the bond itself is growing stronger and stronger. Not strong enough apparently, but stronger and stronger.
I would say take a drink, but
And then Kylo realizes that she's in his bedroom, and he has like a little boner, and he's like,
He's
"Oh my
like,
God,
I'll
lock the
come
ship.
tell you.
Lock the doors, lock the ship. I'm on my way."
No, like the way he's like, I'll come tell
Yeah.
you. Like, Kylo.
They have this like charged moment where they're kind of like prowling and like walking around each other and circling each other, and it's very romantic. Everybody's just watching on the sideline.
Yeah, their guns are loaded. They're ready to shoot, and like they're just watching their supreme leader. I don't even know what is he doing with a girl.
Yeah. You know what the Star Wars world needs? A lady whistle down. Someone on the sidelines would just be like taking notes, like the supreme leader was caught having a very romantically charged moment with Rey the scavenger.
I think this movie needed like a little like funny moments, like how the previous one with like the stormtroopers, where he's like breaking stuff in his room, and like the stormtroopers,
that was the Force
like,
Awakens.
The Force Awakens, where they like show up in like the hallway and they see, and then like they backtrack, and
I feel like they tried to make it funny with Poe, like Poe and Rey dynamic, and like Poe and Finn and Rey dynamic.
No.
I wasn't feeling it.
No.
How did you feel like about that? Because I feel like they obviously wanted to have a nod to the original, like Han, Luke, Leia with Pin. That's another ship name, guys. Poe, Finn, and Rey. Like, how did you feel about that?
I think it was at some parts it felt kind of like forced, that they were trying to like have this bond of like this great friendship, and I'm just like, I guess. I loved Rey with BB-8. Like that was the dynamic I loved.
Yeah. And Rey and Chewie.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was the real bestie. I don't know, like Rey and Finn were fine.
Yeah.
But I always felt like he tried to like protect her, like, or try to like he would, no, Rey, you can't do that. No, this.
A little
then,
misogynistic.
like leave her alone. Like she can do it. She can handle herself. Like I get like maybe I guess that aspect of your friend wanting to protect you, but sometimes it just got a little.
But it's to the point of like, you know what she's capable of. Like, you know she can take care of herself.
Yeah.
So just chillax a bit.
And that would annoy me, where I'm just like, okay, like leave her alone. Like she knows what she's doing. Like if she knows. Like,
the Rey and Poe thing makes no sense. That is forced to me. Especially
Was
in this
that
movie.
supposed to be like another nod to like Han and Leia? Like, were they trying to like?
No, it's just, it feels super forced. Like their conversations, even like, Oscar Isaac and Daisy Ridley are great actors.
Yeah.
And you know that they can have chemistry with just about anyone, but together for some reason there's nothing happening there. The dialogue probably is the script is probably at fault most of all, but it's bad, and they're trying to make us feel like, oh, this is a great friendship that they have going on, like totally the trio, and it's like, no.
I honestly think they were trying to do maybe like a Han and Leia thing. Like Han and Leia always bickered like that. Like, and they were also shippers of Poe and Rey.
Oh my
like
God.
there were quite a lot of them, not crazy a lot like Reylo, but
did they catch on to that because he does that lip biting thing with her as well?
But it was the first time they met and actually talked, so I'm like, why are you doing this?
No, I think what people were going off of is the end of TLJ, where is it him that says I'm Poe and then she says I know, or is it her that says I'm Rey and then he says I know? Something like that. Like they have that like line that you see often where it's like, ooh, I already know who you are, like I've been interested in your stuff, like
and also like, again, I know I'm going to Han and Leia, but like also like that little nod of like the way they said I love you was like, they never said like I love you back. It was like I love you, and then it's like I know.
Now's probably a good time also to just mention that they completely sidelined Rose. Like, where's Rose in this movie? Gone.
Where is Rose?
She gets the pat on the shoulder from Finn.
That was so disgusting to me. Despite like the fact that we never got to see them talk about the end of their journey in The Last Jedi. Like, she kissed him and faints, and that was it. And he like literally risks his life to bring her back in. But they never discuss what happened. Like, we don't see anything happen there.
They kiss?
In the last Jedi.
Yeah.
Like a peck, a
It
very
was a
dry
little
peck. on
as
the
she
lips,
was like,
yeah.
she fainted. It was more like, yeah.
Ugh, so it makes me cringe. I don't like her. I don't like her character.
Oh, you don't?
No, I don't. I didn't
Really?
like. Yeah, no. I disliked. Like, I was like, why is she even there? For that was me. I didn't like it.
Do you think she needed more dialogue, more scenes in order for you to like her, or is just off the bat no?
No, I just didn't like her character.
I honestly felt like she was like really relatable. Like she's the fangirl. Like we're all the fangirls. Like I felt like her character maybe in like this setting didn't fit. I don't know. But I just didn't like not seeing
Maybe
her.
maybe if they put her in a wrote her in differently, or like didn't I maybe I would have liked her more.
Okay.
But maybe because like her and Finn, and then going to do what they had to do, and then that I found that pointless.
Yeah, I think maybe it hurt her character that their plot line was all about like failing ultimately, like
Yeah.
trying to do something, and then it turns out that it doesn't add up to anything in the end. Like maybe that didn't help making her feel like a part of the movie and a part of the plot, and making her feel like kind of necessary in the. But I don't like that you add a character and then the next movie you literally respond to the fan comments on that character by being like, well, okay, we'll just like she's gone, she doesn't exist anymore, she's very sidelined and we don't talk about. Like, I don't like that. I feel like if you see comments like that, then take her character and do something interesting with it next movie, you know, give her a purpose. Don't just like write her off.
For me, it wasn't even just that, Marge. It was also the fact that J.J. Abrams, in a convention somewhere, I don't remember where, he fully was like, thank you, Rian Johnson, for giving me Kelly Marie Tran. And, like all of that. And, like, it just made him seem like he was just so grateful for, like, Rose and, like, you know, having her there as, like, a character. And then all of a sudden, it's such a slap in the face for her as well to, like, not even have, like, 5 lines.
So do you think maybe she did have a lot? Because now I'm thinking back to what you girls said, that they probably rewrote or re-edited the movie.
I don't think that was a part of it. I think they fully set out to not have her in the movie whatsoever.
Yeah.
Just, I guess, uninspired writers.
Yeah. They couldn't, like you said, Veronica, like, they could have made her a different type of character in this one, and they just chose not to include her at all. So.
Yeah.
And she gets the very patronizing pat on the shoulder of like, good girl, stay here, do your job. We'll go off on an adventure that we don't need you on.
Yeah.
We'll go do the fun things. And then, oh god, we have
another favorite line.
Yeah, we have the line. You don't just have power.
Oh gosh.
You have his
power.
God. This is so wrong on so many levels. Wow. Where to start? I don't even know.
How did that line make you feel? Like, when you, like, I guess, it wasn't really your first time watching, it was more so, like, your third time. But, like, hearing that line, did it, like, strike you in any way?
For me, it didn't. Not the way it's striking you girls right now.
Okay.
I didn't get that reaction.
Basically, right? This is the first time that we have a female main character in the Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
And it's her story. She's the heroine here. She's coming into her own. She is supposed to be Rey Nobody. She's supposed to make her own path in the world. It doesn't matter where her powers come from, because do we even know where Anakin's come from? No, and nobody ever cared.
Nope.
Frankly, because he's a man. Yet here, this is a direct response to the fan bros out there being like, where does her powers come from if she's a nobody? You know, we can't have a woman have any kind of power in this world. So, of course, what do? Well, we explain it by tying her powers
To a man.
To a man.
Yeah.
You have his power. It is not yours. It never was yours.
Yeah.
And now we're also tainting it by making it into something bad because it's related to who? Palpatine. So now it's also this evil thing that you should fear even more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
I get it.
This is not the feminist agenda that the fanbros were supposedly saying that Disney was going for. This is like literally the exact opposite of that. It's awful.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, we follow this with at least something interesting, which is the introduction of the dyad.
Yeah.
So Kylo says, we're a dyad in the Force Ray. 2 that are 1. And then he removes his mask. Looks glorious. It's literally
beautiful.
It's not the first time we see his face in the movie, but it at this point, it feels like it's been a while.
You can tell he primped up before. He did the whole, like, hair, you know, schedule with his hair. Rinse, repeat, like, put all the
that hair was
in there.
shampooed, it was conditioned, it
Yeah.
was combed, it was
styled.
He,
he used that diffuser real well.
Oh, yeah. He used his hair curlers or hair, I don't know. He slept with, you know, rolls. He was prepared for that date. And he offers her his hand. Gloved hand.
His gloved hand, yes.
And basically, yeah, not much happens in that, you know, scene besides
Well, she does like a weird superhero, like, fling into the Falcon.
Which defies gravity in every way.
Yeah. I don't understand how she's able to do that. She was literally out in space and did that.
Yeah.
I'll drink.
But then again, we have to say Leia did the same thing in TLJ, and I will say that's not a scene that I like in TLJ.
Same, that was not a scene I liked either.
I hate that, the Mary Poppins thing where she like
where
drags
she's
herself
out floating
back
in
to
space.
Yeah.
Agreed.
That
looks dumb.
was weird.
So she kind of does the same thing here, but whatever. And we're back on the ship, on the Falcon, and she's talking to Finn again, and you know, she's kind of trying to grapple with what she just learned, and she says, people keep telling me they know me. I'm afraid no one does.
Did anyone else, as I don't know, I don't think you watched the trailer, but like, did anyone else like wait for that "but I do" from Kylo Ren, and it haunts you till this day that you never heard him say "but I do," like, I know you?
And every night.
And it's not in the movie?
No.
At all?
I believe, maybe, was she talking to Ben? I don't know.
It's in the book, I think, but not in this moment. But I feel like I remember the "but I do" appearing in the book in a different scene where she's again talking about like nobody understanding her type of thing, but not in this precise moment or something like that. But I do doesn't appear here, but we know he says it. Okay.
Ben was there, you know, forced timing, and, you know, he was just like, "but I do, I know you."
Literally in her mind going, "But I do, babe. I know you. I know everything about you, babe." So we're off to the Death Star, the remnants of the Death Star, and Rey decides to take matters in her own hands, and she goes, despite the waters being, like, really, you know, dangerous and it's all over the place, but she goes anyway because she's at this point, you know, she's feeling really lonely. I'm just saying, like, she's fully separating herself from her friends.
Yeah,
isolating herself.
And I don't even think she told him that she's Palpatine's granddaughter. Like, it's not.
She never does.
No.
Steph, she never does.
Is it because she fears, like, their fear? Like, that they're
She
gonna...
fears that she won't be accepted by them.
So she's, like, harboring this big secret from her supposed found family, and she's dealing with it alone. I mean, obviously she has Ben, but, like, she doesn't feel like she has him because they're on opposing sides.
So she has an encounter with Dark Rey.
As she picks up the
who
wayfinder.
tells her something that, honestly, sensible words have been spoken. She says, "Don't be afraid of who you are." Yeah. I feel like she was right.
And I loved Dark Rey's double-edged lightsaber. I loved her lightsaber.
Yeah. Like, what was the point of the staff? If not to have a double-bladed lightsaber. Well, I will tell you why. Because she literally says in the book why she didn't go for a double-bladed lightsaber.
Why was it?
What?
Because she went with the lightsaber that's as far from Dark Rey's lightsaber as possible. She wanted the exact opposite. So she's still very much fearing the dark side in her, the darkness in her.
So she's still fearing that.
Yeah. By the end of it, she's still fearing that. So she was like, "Oh, Dark Rey had a double-bladed lightsaber, then I'll have not that, and I'll have a yellow lightsaber." And yeah. So she's still fearing that by the end. So it's like, have we made no progress whatsoever? I feel like we've backtracked, actually.
She clearly did not have like a progressing character arc in this movie.
Yeah.
It's sad. It's actually really sad.
But, like, don't be afraid of who you are. Yeah. Don't.
Anyways, so she finds the Wayfinder, and as she's talking, well, I guess being attacked by Dark Ray, she falls and it rolls the Wayfinder, and Kylo Ren's there, and he picks it up, and it looks like I really thought it was this man's foot for like the longest time.
And then all of a sudden you just see him stand up with his, I thought it was his foot. That would have been sexy, I feel like.
Yeah.
No, it was like a claw. I was like, this man has, like, that's his Sith characteristic, clawed feet.
Chicken feet, yeah.
Yeah.
But he looks hot. You know, the lighting is so good in that scene.
He,
He's looking like a prince. It's just like that angle of his face is so perfect, and the way he's just like standing there looking at it. And I love that she ignites her lightsaber, and right away he's like, God damn it, here we go again.
He's so done with her. He's like, I don't want to fight my wife. And I will say, I do feel like more of Ben's personality was slowly seeping through, like maybe unbeknownst to him. Mm-hmm. And like, he was just like really giving me Ben vibes. And
he was so ready to have a conversation with her, and he's like, oh, God damn it, here we go again. She's mad. She's always mad.
Now I gotta fight her, and I don't even want to fight her. Yeah.
But he says something important. He says, you can't go back to her, like her being his mom, Leia. You can't go back to her now, like I can't. Obviously, this relates to the fact that when after the whole like Jedi Academy thing that burnt down and the whole Luke thing, he felt like he couldn't go back to his mom. So
and also killing his father. I feel like that's something that is very much fresh, and he's still living with, and he strongly believes. The father is still
a touchy subject, though.
The what?
The father's a little bit of a touchy subject.
No, but I think the idea of killing his father also like really hammers in the idea that he can't go home. Like he really believes that he will never be forgiven.
But I think there was a special connection between him and Leia that he didn't have with Han.
Yeah, but I still feel like killing your father is a big thing that you would feel like is unforgivable. Especially with, like, you know, to the woman that loved him a lot.
But he can't go back to her.
Yeah.
No matter what. And he never does. I'm a treat to that.
So anyways, during that time, Rey is, like, very much, like, triggered. Like, she just experienced Dark Rey, and she's just like, I don't know, in touch with her dark side. And then she's not even hearing him out at this point. She's just like, give it to me.
And he shudders.
He literally clutches his pearls. He's like,
literally scared and horny. Like,
he is horny. Like, as soon as she said, give it to me, I strongly believe he thought she was talking about his dick.
And then he crushes the Wayfinder, and he says, the only way you're getting to Exegol is on my lap.
Right? Because the ship does not have a second seater. Like, it's not a 2-seater.
No, it's a 1-seater.
Yeah.
Little, what's it called? TIE Whisperer is his ship.
Oh yes, TIE Whisperer, not a TIE fighter.
It's a 1-seater type of deal. So it's like, the only way you're going, babe, is on my lap. That was hot.
I wish we got that scene. Sadly, we did not.
Obviously, it doesn't happen, and then they start fighting again because Rey is mad. And at first, I love that he doesn't even take his lightsaber out. Like he's just
not
like
even
walking
fighting
around.
Her.
You know?
He's just like letting her like get her
like,
anger out, and then he's like, "Okay, fine, I ignite my lightsaber, but I'm not even gonna like fight you. Like I'm not gonna like." You know. Anyways, loved it.
He's kind of deflecting. Like, he's not really attacking her or anything. He's just, like, toying with her, like, fine. Yeah. Like, you want us to fight, I guess we'll fight. But you can see that, like, their heart is not in it.
No, yeah. Especially his. Like, his is very much not... Like, he has not been in the mood to fight her at all this whole movie.
But there are moments where, on the Death Star, where he's not... like, they're not even doing anything. They're just staring at each other, breathing, because they're exhausted.
And they have so many moments where, like, it's open. Like, you can kill him if you wanted to. You can kill her if you wanted to. But they don't. Like, that's not their intent at this point.
Yeah. But you also see how heavy, you know, I feel like it gets heavier for him to be Kylo Ren. And in that scene, especially when he's fighting her... it's like it's especially heavy to carry that lightsaber and fight her, because it's like he's not there anymore. Like he's past that. He doesn't want to be that anymore. So that's great. But also, like, there was a lot of backlash about like the lightsaber fights in this trilogy, but I personally think that they look really real. The point of the fights in this trilogy are much more emotional. It's not about looking flashy, it's not about looking cool, it's about what is going on emotionally between these characters. Kind of like the same thing that like a sex scene would do in a romance novel. It's well, I mean, you know, it's foreplay for them. But you know what I mean? Like it's an emotional thing. It's like it's showing you where the characters are before the fight. During the fight, they're kind of like dealing with things, and then after the fight, it's different. You know, they're somewhere else now. They've evolved. So
agreed. I will say with these, like this scene in particular, but like a lot of Rey's like force use, I just found it so like annoying, like in the sense where like her random like superhero landings and like her like flips are like, I don't know, I just like, I was like, what are we going for? Like this is not giving me like Jedi trained or like, you know, someone that's one with the force type of movement. It felt very much Marvel like.
I have a question for you on that front, because this was a first for you. So, like, was it weird sometimes, like, seeing them start doing tricks that they've never done before? Like, was that weird? Like, did you notice, like, are they, like, fucking flying all of a sudden? Like, people can fly now?
No, I just accepted what was given.
Well, I think this may be also why you had a better experience than all of us, because you don't have the, like, knowledge about Star Wars and what makes sense and what doesn't make sense in this universe. So for you, it's just like accepting the facts as they are, and you're just like having fun.
But not only that, I honestly feel like if you didn't like close like analyze it and close read it the way that we did, or like I don't know, like a lot of like Reylos did,
pour your heart and soul and tears and blood into it,
then this movie was enjoyable. I know my sister hands down loves this movie. She's like, it was the best one. And really? I'm like,
my mom too, she had a blast.
So I honestly feel like if you're not like analyzing it to the point that like it makes you sick, then you'll like enjoy it. And like I'm so happy you enjoy it, and I wish I had that satisfaction, but I never did. And it was because I think I'm like I nitpick and I really like focus in on things, because like I would like rewatch them over and over again, and like this was, and like in a sense I rewatched the trailers over and over and over again to the point where like I analyzed every little thing. And anyways, so that's why I feel like it was a big thing that I didn't enjoy it, and like I can see why you did, and a lot of other people did, which is fair. Like I that's movies are meant to be enjoyed.
Well, I mean, it has to be said, like Star Wars is mythology to a lot of people. Like this is huge. It's ingrained into so much of pop culture, and it's, you know, what people have been raised with, you know, it's part of who they are. And so, and a lot of that is because it's so rich in mythology, and
symbolism is so strong in like Star Wars universe.
But it was kind of absent in this one. I think it was more of like it didn't feel like a Star Wars movie in the sense that like it didn't have those things, or like it went back on some of the things that we had learned in previous movies in this sequel trilogy. I think the only part of it that really added to the mythos of Star Wars was the dyad. That's the whole concept that taps into that directly. But the rest of it was just like flashy stuff and cool scenes and funny encounters and weird monster things and, you know, like aliens.
Yeah, I mean, which is fair. Like, you go into, like I said, you go into a movie usually to enjoy it. Like, I don't know, like you said, if it's not something that you've, like, I guess been a part of, I don't know, this. I feel like the universe is so vast. Like, there's so many other outlets and, like, so many other, like, types of media out there for Star Wars that, I mean, like, if you're not exposed to it and, like, you didn't, I don't know.
Well, they have a responsibility, though, to make it meaningful to kids out there, you know?
No,
like,
I agree, and I think they did. It was very disrespectful the way they handled Rey's arc in this, for sure. As a main character, as a heroine, as a person that struggled throughout her life, it was a disservice.
Anyways, he puts Rey on her knees during that fight, and it's hot. And he gets this opportunity, you know, to go for a killing shot, and he doesn't. And then he senses Leia.
Wait.
Dying.
Before that, you didn't mention. This man has a literal Darcy moment. Yeah, when he's like the wave is like hitting the ship,
right.
and like the water is falling like rain, and he's walking all like seductive in the water, and she's looking at him. Oh, it was so good.
Right.
She did her other. Is that the one you're saying? She flipped over the water, the wave or whatever, and then
Yeah, she was waiting for him. She probably thought he was gonna flip over, but he just walked through it.
Yeah. There are edits of that scene with the Pride and Prejudice music playing of like Darcy walking at dawn. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. Anyways, now she's on her knees in front of his crotch. Yeah.
Looking hat. Anyways, he senses Leia dying, so he doesn't go for it. He's kind of distracted, and of course Rey seizes the moment. She seizes the opportunity. She's like, I am going for that killing shot.
Yeah.
Oh, we have a question in the audience.
No, keep going.
Oh, okay. She goes for it with his saber, and this is one of those moments of brilliance in the movie, because she goes for the killing shot in the exact spot where he killed his father. So this is symbolic, because the weapon that delivered the killing shot on his dad is delivering the same killing shot on him, on Kylo. Kylo is dying in that moment. Not Ben, Kylo. It's pretty cool when you think of it that way.
Mm-hmm.
I remember at first I was like, why would Rey ever do that? But then when I figured that out, I was like, you know what? It's symbolic in that way. I can accept the fact that she went for it. You know, she killed Kylo and, you know, brought back Ben.
Yeah.
And she heals him after that, and she heals the scar in the same...
His face,
you know, Yeah, she heals the scar, the wound that she delivered in The Force Awakens on him. So she's healing all of it, and Ben is reborn.
Okay.
I feel like she's pulling out her notepad.
I have a sticky for this, because this is something that we talked about yesterday. Okay, so Leia dies in this scene.
Yeah.
Well, she's dying, but she's kind of hanging on as well.
But was it because she's dying that she decides to call to Ben through the Force, or is it the fact that she dies because she uses her whole energy to try to talk with Ben, to try to communicate with him through the Force?
It was her last-ditch effort, I believe, to bring her son back, and full well knowing that she will die.
Okay, so that's what killed her, not the killing blow to the...
No.
Not what Rey did, right?
No.
To Kylo.
No, it was reaching out to him.
But she felt it the moment that she went in for the stab, for the kill, right? For the...
Yeah.
And Rey realizes her mistake right away before healing him. You know, she realizes, oh my god, Leia died. And I'm like, wow, how evil must you be? That you, like, this man, his mom just died. And you're like, how about I kill him?
No, and then, like, she sees, like, obviously what he's going through. She's like, oh my gosh, like, I just did that. And then, she...
And that's why she heals him. But
also, I don't think she intended to kill him. I think that was her tapping into the dark side to the point where, like, she was just so in it with the dark side that she, like, wasn't really thinking.
But that's what's so interesting. Kylo, from the beginning, from The Force Awakens, his journey is full of moments of hesitation.
Mm-hmm.
Every time he has to do something huge that he thinks will cement him further into this persona of Kylo Ren, he hesitates.
Yeah.
Rey has no such moments. When she goes dark, she's like, yeah, I'm going there.
So this is how I felt in that moment. I think it's like, the reason why Ben or Kylo struggles with the dark side is that he is, I think, always supposed to be, like, in the light, whereas, like, Rey struggles with the light. Like, she struggles with, like, making those quote-unquote right Jedi decisions. And, like, maybe she's always meant to be dark. Like, what in case tinfoil hat, I guess, is coming on, like, a switch happens. Like, I think that could be something that would be interesting, seeing Dark Rey. I would love to see Dark Rey.
I would love to see Dark Rey, but I hate that then instills this kind of, like, mindset that, oh, you come from an evil family, therefore you will always just go dark. Like, you cannot fight back against that. That's you're doomed, basically.
That's why I love the idea of
like
the Grey Jedi, but we're not getting it
Yeah,
here.
embrace both the light and the dark. There's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong. Like, we're all both, like, we make good decisions, we make bad decisions. We've talked about this already. But it's just like, you're never fully good and you're never fully bad. So I don't understand this idea of, like, the Jedi and the Sith. Like, I don't understand it.
And this scene ends with a very important line.
Yes.
She says, "I did want to take your hand." Ben's hand.
Yeah.
And S is doing little hands. Little hands.
And Ben is like, what? Like, in his head. Like, I feel like Adam Driver is, like, amazing at, like, the minuscule expressions on his face. Like, he is such a talented actor. We've said this a million times, but, like, just his expression in that scene when he hears that, it's just amazing.
Yeah, and then she leaves his ass.
Takes his ship too. She took it.
And then we have, again, one of the other, like, brilliant scenes in this movie.
The scene that broke me.
Yeah. We have a redo of the Force Awakens scene where Kylo kills his dad.
Yeah.
Almost word for word. And this is really beautiful and cathartic because, you know, in the first movie, he says, "I know what I have to do. I don't know if I have the strength to do it." And then he kills his dad. In the second movie, he says, I know what I have to do. And then he kills Snoke. And then here we have we have the same sentence again. "I know what I have to do, but I don't know if I have the strength to do it." And finally, he does have the strength to do the right thing this time around for the right reasons.
Yeah.
Thoughts, opinions on this scene? How do you feel?
I didn't catch that this third time watching this movie.
That it's a redo?
No, of the conversation. Like, I didn't catch that there was something
The same
that he said in the
conversation?
past.
Oh.
Well, yeah. It was literally him reliving that memory, but, like, rewriting it. Like, Han wasn't actually there. Like, it was just his memory. And it was heartbreaking. Like, for me, it was just, like, that's where I was like, I'm done. Like, it's just, like, he's such a broken person. And, like, the fact that, like, he was just dealing with this all alone. And, like, he truly believes there's no hope in him. Like, there's, like, he's so broken at that point. And, like, you feel his grief. You feel his regret. You feel it all. And, like, when it all happens and, like, he literally says dad and, like, his voice is all shaky and, like, you can tell he's broken and, like, Han just says I know, and, like, I feel like that's a nod to, like, the whole I love you, I know. So, like, that was Ben telling his father, like, I'm sorry
you,
and I
Dad.
love you.
Yeah.
And, like, Han is like, I know. And, like, it's just so sad. And, like, when he, like, throws it in the water and he looks back at Han, like, he looks back hoping to see his father there, looking at him probably with pride and happiness. He's gone because that was the end of his memory.
Oh, stop! It's gonna make me cry.
He's back to being all alone. Yeah.
And, like, yeah, I had to pause the movie and, like, actually sob because I was like, he finally did the right thing and then he just gets punished for it. Like, punished for, like, his past deeds and not even given a chance to redeem himself in any way. And that's when, like, the waterworks happened and I was, like, VMing you guys and literally crying my eyes out.
That went dark. I'm gonna take a drink for that because
Sorry.
What's frustrating about that is that you see the greatness that can come out of them exploring a character's emotions.
Yes.
Letting the character be introspective and, like, exploring their trauma and exploring their grief and exploring, you know, their guilt and everything that they did that they regret doing. And they allow him this one moment, and it's beautiful, and it's, you know, it stands out in the whole movie because it's a moment of pause, and we fucking need a pause.
We do. This movie was go.
Yeah.
And then finally we're having someone that's tapping into their emotions and, like, not healing from it, but, like, dealing with it. Finally, he's dealing with his grief and, like,
Facing
his
it,
regret.
yeah.
Veronica, when you watched that scene, like, how did that make you feel? Like, did you feel like, are you like, I don't know where I'm going with this, but, like, were you like, Han shouldn't have died? And, like, I'm so mad at Kylo for doing that? Or were you more like, I liked, like, seeing him, like, come full circle in that sense?
I was really sad when he killed his dad. I was like, I was kind of upset with him. Like, why did you have to go that far, you know? Like,
Yeah.
So I wish it wouldn't have happened. But then it's nice to see that, well, to have that full circle closure moment that I feel like he should have had with his parents, but because, like you said, he's been so lost that it's just it was very heartbreaking. But
Yeah.
I like that he had his little closure moment with his dad.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the scene in TFA makes sense. Like, it's very Greek mythology-esque, where it's like, oh, you know, I can't live up to what my father is, therefore I must kill the part of me that is my father and live beyond that, you know? Like, it's very much like, I must become something else entirely myself and kill my father in the process. It's symbolic. Obviously, he does literally kill his father, but I think, like, that's what it's supposed to embody. Like, him thinking that in doing so, he's gonna then, you know, really become Kylo Ren and be able to, like, let go of the light in him, which he, I think, identifies with his dad. It doesn't work, obviously.
Yeah.
So, we get a scene that I don't even want to talk about. Literally, my notes say, we won't even talk about the stupid Act 2 scene.
The what scene? Oh, I've erased it. The one with Luke that's like, show some respect to that lightsaber. The man who threw it, obviously. And all of a sudden he's back to being like this supreme, glorious god. I'll drink.
Yeah. I was gonna say. Well, thanks for that. You saved me having to say it myself. Hate that so much.
Did you also note, guys, that she was wearing her hood, which I think screams refilm? It was a redo.
Right.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think it was like put in because she's wearing her hood and she never takes it off. So one, it's either she didn't have the buns on or like she just didn't have the hairdo. But you see her tattoo at the back of her neck peep out all the time. And her buns look so messy. Like when you know when it's the reshoot.
wig. There was a lot of controversy around the wig. Like, it looks good in some scenes, which we think is like the original movie, and then the reshoot's like a bad wig. They didn't do a good job, and then her tattoo is showing. Like, they didn't even take the time to, like, cover that.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah. The post trust days, while they were awful, honestly, great content sometimes.
It was like, in a way, I did feel like vindicated in the sense where like I felt like this was not the movie we were supposed to get. Like I don't know. I don't know what the original one was that J.J. Abrams planned. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Like for all you know, it could have been Disney that like influenced like the decision to reshoot scenes and like maybe redo a lot of the story. We don't know, and we'll never know.
But the point of this scene is that it just further cements that Rey is now Luke 2.0.
Yeah.
And that she's stripped of everything that made her her and made her unique and important in her own fucking story. Because now she's just there to complete the will of the Jedi.
And all the Jedi live in you now.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Rey arrives on Exegol. She meets Grandpa for the first time.
Wait, before she, goes there, Luke also gives her Leia's lightsaber.
Right.
So she has two now.
Because Leia was supposedly training at some point, even though original Leia was totally against that. But we don't care about that. Leia loves lightsabers now.
We care about the incestuous Luke and Leia bond.
Anyways, she arrives on Exegol. Palpatine, who wanted her dead at the beginning of the movie,
which
remember? Now doesn't want her dead. Listen, he's old. He's a little confused.
Unless, like, he firmly believed, like, he knew, like, Ben would never kill Rey, and he knew that, like, she would show up. I don't know. I'm trying to make it make sense. Because what would he have done if, like, Ben actually killed Rey?
He would never.
That's what I'm saying. He knew. Palpatine knew that he would never kill Rey, that Rey would show up.
I don't know. Palpatine is a little flaky in this movie, which is not his typical self. Usually he has a pretty solid plan and he enacts it, you know.
Yeah.
Like, he's better than, but he's old, you know. We have to give him some slack. He's died a couple times. And,
he's like over,
you know,
over like 100?
I don't even know.
He was easily like pushing 50 something, maybe 60 in the prequel trilogy, and then like jump ahead, like was it 19 years?
And something had sex with that.
No one had sex with that, wasn't it? Sorry, clones? Like he was trying to make another clone, or was this just a theory? He was trying to make a clone, but then like I think it was the son, but it was a clone, like a defect clone, and the clone ran away and then met Ray's mom, and then they had their little relationship, and then Ray happened. Was that not?
No, I think that's a theory. I don't.
So
I don't
someone
think
actually had sex with Palpatine, is what you're telling me.
As far as we know, somebody actually had sex with that.
Are you sure? I mean, I just can't see anyone doing that.
There's some devoted fans in that stadium. There were some devoted fans.
No, but I'm just saying, was this like after the whole like ultimate power and like he becomes like all like nasty, wrinkly? Like, I'm curious. I need to know the timeline of this. You'll get that reference as when you watch the movies.
Maybe it's explained somewhere in like a visual dictionary or some shit. I don't know.
That he had sex?
Here's how Palpatine had sex. When and with who. See, we need a Lady Whistledown. Lady Whistledown wouldn't know this.
Your theory, like your idea, I think they should really do it.
But he does say, you and your new family will die. And then it literally cuts to Ben arriving on Exegol.
Yes,
like,
I did notice that this time.
How great is that?
Yeah.
He arrives.
And
his music. It's a heroic rendition of his evil theme.
Yes.
And he is running for his babe.
And it's beautiful. And he's Ben. And his sweater has a cute little hole in it.
And his hair. And he's so much lighter. Like he
so
moves
light.
completely differently now.
Yeah.
Like he's free.
He's like the armor is off. Like the burden of like the guilt, the regret, the everything that he's done is gone. Like I loved it. I love seeing him that way.
Yeah. And you said earlier like how, he says so much with so little with his face. Well, here you see how he's been doing that for 3 movies.
Yeah.
As Kylo Ren. But you see that was all, acting, because that was all a part of who Kylo Ren was, because the second that persona is no longer in the equation, suddenly he's expressive and his face moves and changes, and he's just completely, like, he becomes someone else. And you see little like things that Han Solo would have done, the little moves, the little swagger, the little like, I don't know, attitude and cockiness.
Imagine, like, the little shrug he does, like, like, he seems like such a snarky, like, sarcastic man that I really wanted to know. And maybe would have wanted more than one line.
Yeah.
Same. Al was not enough for me.
Yeah. I wanted so much more time with him.
Yeah. I can agree to that.
Yeah, same. It was short-lived.
And it's sad because literally everyone that came out of the movie, whether you liked it or not, I think everyone agrees that that was great. That moment, that the precious little moments that we got with Ben Solo, everyone's like, I wanted more of that.
Yeah. And I think they could have like easily done that by having him like turn to the light a lot sooner.
So I want to play a little video. Hopefully you guys can hear it. It is Adam Driver talking about Ben.
The way he loved Ben Solo.
And the thing that we started with for who is Ben then is someone who has hope. There's no more ambiguity about what it is that he has to do. There's no more seesaw that's happening. For the first time, someone who's never had the answer now finally knows his purpose or destiny. He has to let her know that they're together. But I don't know that he entirely is sure what's going to happen from there. And nor do I think he cares. I think it's so long as he's with her, he's on the right path.
So long as he's with her, he's on the right path. And Ben is someone who has hope. That is just so, like, that man completely understands his character, I think more so than anyone else.
He understood the assignment and, like, excelled at it. Like, he was amazing.
Yeah.
And the respect he had for the character too, like it's very rare you see that. Like he put his all into Ben Solo and like Kylo Ren and all of that. But like yeah, it's just like I loved like seeing that pride that he felt, and I wish like I hope I pray that he's given the chance to play that character again.
A lot of people think he wouldn't, and I actually disagree because
I think he
if
would.
you've heard him talk about Ben Solo, he is actually very protective of that character. Like he doesn't like using stunt doubles because he wants to be, he knows what the physicality of Kylo Ren and Ben Solo is. Like he knows how to move his body to embody this character, and he doesn't want someone else to do it for him. Like he is very protective of that character. So if given the chance, I don't think he would let someone else do it. You know, he would be like, no, I'm doing this.
No, and no one else at all would ever like do anything close to what Adam Driver did for Ben Solo and Kylo Ren. But I also feel like he would come back for like if it's someone he trusts with the character as well.
So they meet up in the cathedral, and I'm not making that up. It's literally described as a cathedral where the throne is. And they are breathing in sync. He's wearing black, she's wearing white. It literally looks like they're getting married.
But it's also like a throwback to like the Snoke throne room scene because Palpatine's narrating again what's happening.
And we get a taste of what it could have been for them to fight side to side as opposed to back, and then that's taken away real quick. It's like, you thought you got excited? Never mind.
No, okay, but you're skipping over the important scene. So basically, as like he's narrating, Palpatine's narrating what's happening, Rey's like her lightsaber is ignited, and like she reaches to like, you know, she's reaching back, and Palpatine assumes it's to, you know, strike him down to kill him, so that all the Sith will live in her, and like Palpatine would be like reborn in her. Really gross, creepy things. And then, so basically, yeah, the lightsaber through the Force bond, because it's that powerful at this point. Him as Ben Solo, the bond is so strong that like they're allowed to pass things through the Force, and he gets the lightsaber. He finally gets his grandfather's lightsaber.
Yeah, that was badass too. That was a badass scene.
Yeah, it was such a good scene. I will say that was a really good scene.
They get to the cathedral, blah, blah, blah. That's when Palpatine is like, it's a power like life itself. And then he literally launches... No, wait. Ben wakes up first, because he, like, sucks the something out of them. I don't know what that was.
So
he sucks something out of them.
Force? I don't know.
And then he revives himself. Stand together, die together.
Yeah.
That's what he says.
But also, I really love that one, like, little moment of, like, Rey and Ben, right before, like, that happens. Like, when, like, they nod at each other. Like, they're checking in with each other. I thought that scene was so cute, too. Like, it was the small little things that I just, like, loved. Like, he honestly cared for her so much, and she did, too. As soon as, like, she really meant it. As soon as, like, he became Ben, she was all in. She was there for him and with him.
Absolutely. She knew.
Yeah.
She knew deep down. Like, he doesn't need to say anything. She knows where his intentions lie.
Yeah.
I love that in the trailer, at the end of the trailer, we just got, like, that shot of her.
Yeah.
Her eyes. And we all predicted that she was looking at redeemed Ben Solo. Like, we just knew those eyes are for one person and one person only, and it's for Ben.
Yeah.
We were right. It's the one thing.
One thing we were right about. Anyways, yes, now, life force being sucked out. He gets flying into, like, a hole.
Launched into the pit, never to be seen again, and that's a meme.
Yeah, and then Palpatine literally slaps us in the face, and he's like, the last Skywalker falls, or something like that.
It's the rise of Skywalker, but I know Skywalker rising.
No, it was the fall of Skywalker.
Who's rising?
Rey Skywalker, apparently. I'll drink.
So Ben wakes up first before he's launched into the pit. He wakes up first, and actually you can see him reaching out towards Rey and literally saying Rey.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
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 Let me see.
Like, his first instinct is to go towards her, like, make sure that she's okay.
Yeah. I wish we had more of them!
I know.
This is my problem. I needed more Ben Solo.
Happy Ben Solo.
Yeah.
Happy Ben
Like, one
Solo.
that's, like, certain in, like, who he is.
happy doesn't mean that his life is smooth sailing and that, the whole galaxy is cool with him and stuff. It doesn't mean that there's no trials ahead of him. It just means that he's found purpose.
Exactly.
That gives him happiness.
Exactly. And it's like you said, it's not like he should be forgiven for what he's done. I think he still needed to, like, own up to what he did and, like, pay the price. Like, he did massacre a lot of people. He killed a lot of people. He destroyed a lot of things. I don't know. People misinterpret what redeemed or, like, on the road to redemption means.
Redemption is just the start. Then you need to atone. It's a lifelong path.
Yeah.
It's not just, a done deal. It's kind of like thinking about, like, a drug addict, for instance. Like, once you've made a recovery, then it's a lifelong commitment. It's a lifelong battle that you need to keep up, that you need to constantly fight for.
Yeah.
It's not just like I'm cool now and, like, I'm clean and I'll always be clean. It's like, no, of course not.
And it rewrites all my past wrongdoings. It doesn't.
Right.
Obviously not.
Right.
We end at the kiss, and that's where the movie ends.
Well, first, Rey asks the Jedi of the past to be with her. Oh boy. And they cannot be bothered to actually show up in person. They just, like, shout a few words through the Force. They're like, go, Rey, do your thing.
You got this. Keep going. You do you, boo. And she hears the person that Ben has been dying to hear, yearning to hear. She hears Anakin Skywalker,
Anakin, yeah.
aka Ben Solo's grandfather, aka the person that never went to his own grandson, aka the person that's in the ditch that did not hear his grandfather. I'll drink.
That's even more sad. I'll drink with you.
This boy, his whole life has just wanted a sign from his grandfather. Like, literally, he just wanted that. And if Anakin had connected with him in some capacity and to let him know, like, I changed, I turned, this is not the right path for you. There's the light is in you, and let it guide you out of this darkness. That would have been
awesome.
I know.
Right? Like,
I know.
That. And no, he reaches out to Rey instead, and he's like, go, Rey, woo! Yeah. Oh, bitter.
Yeah. Anyways, Rey finds the power in her with all the Jedi also inside her.
Well, she's a vessel for them.
She was reduced to a vessel. That was her character arc. Her end of her whole character arc was her being a vessel for the Jedi. Her being a vessel for all these men plus a few women.
To do what they wanted to do but didn't manage to do.
Yeah.
Like, her agency, her story, her
gone.
wants, her desires no longer matter. It's, you need to complete this, and it might actually kill you because we won't actually help you out.
My question then, okay, so this is a valid question. It's not a criticism. It's like, so if they are all Force ghosts, right? At that point, like, they are all, like, they've made that transition to, like, the next stage in their life is, like, Force ghosts. So did they not have the Force energy within them to help power up Rey, to help, save Ben as well when he did the transfer of Force, whatever? Yeah. Where were they? Where the fuck were they?
Where the fuck were they when it mattered? We don't know.
They had the one trip only, and then they were gone.
This is why I asked earlier, Veronica, if we could spoil Throne of Glass for you, because this reminded me of the gods in Throne of Glass, who literally used Aelin as a vessel to get what they wanted, and they didn't care that it was going to kill her. They were just like, we need someone to do it, and you just happen to be there, so we're just going to use you for our own ends.
Except the difference is she got the satisfaction of sticking it to them, whereas in this one she was grateful.
They
she's
fully knew
grateful
she was
to
gonna
be their
die.
vessel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you can't do that by yourself, and yet instead of using your own power, you instead drain someone else of their own life and sacrifice them, basically, because they're there. It's horrible. I hate it. And then she literally dies. The heroine in a Disney movie for kids dies.
She dies for something like, yeah, she believed in the fight, but it was like, it wasn't even her fight. Like, it should not have been her fight. It should have been like, like Anakin really should have showed up. Like, you had even like Obi-Wan. You had literally everyone there that could have showed up, but they did not. She was alone.
And you know whose right it was to avenge his family?
Ben Solo.
Ben.
The
The boy who has been traumatized and groomed
yeah.
and haunted by this man, and this man has killed his entire family.
His entire family.
He doesn't get the chance to kill that man.
He doesn't get the
avenge
satisfaction of
himself.
killing his abuser.
He's thrown into a pit, forgotten.
Forgotten. Thrown away. Like a piece of garbage. I will drink, but it's just so aggravating because, like you said, Marge, he was the last Skywalker. He's the true Skywalker, I guess.
He's the hope of the galaxy.
Like you said, it's just like, it would have made sense if he was able to actually kill Palpatine. Like, do what his grandfather was, what he did. And it's just like...
Or do it together.
Do it together.
Why
Live
couldn't
together
they do it
and-
together?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Combined together, the force, the power of the dyad should have been enough to win over Palpatine.
Yep.
The power of love, unconditional love, should have won by itself. Just that. That's a Disney movie right there.
Yeah, and I think having that true, balance within yourself, I think should have given you enough power together to defeat this big bad. That being said, Rey actually does die. Ben Solo does rise.
Ben climbs out, and I am crying.
Yeah, he is
At
broken.
this precise moment.
His ribs are broken. His foot, his leg is clearly broken.
His ribs are
Girl.
broken.
Hold on, I'm gonna read an excerpt from the book.
Read the excerpt.
His ankle was twisted, and he was pretty sure he'd broken at least 2 ribs. But he had to get back to the throne room, because he couldn't sense Rey at all. The climb up was agonizing. Each time he reached for a handhold, a hot knife of pain stabbed his left side. Dizziness threatened to send him tumbling back into the abyss, but he kept on, one hand over the other, until finally his fingers grasped the top. He hauled himself over the side, paused a moment to catch his breath, dragged himself to his feet. Ben made it only a few steps before he crumpled, forced himself to his feet yet again, limped forward. He could see her now, collapsed on the floor, and the pain in his chest was suddenly so much worse than that of a couple broken ribs.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That is so sad.
Yeah.
It's heartbreaking.
Who are we suing?
Who are we suing?
Oh.
That is so sad.
Emotional damage.
Yeah.
I'm gonna drink myself.
Okay.
Yeah, he's crawling to her. You know that song where it's like, I'll crawl home to
Dude,
her?
I literally Hosier, from
Yeah.
Eden. That song, every time I hear it, it's literally Ben Solo crawling to Rey. Always in my head.
His home. He's crawling back to his home.
Yeah.
And he sees her dead. And he's like, I can't live in a world where she's not here.
Yeah.
And he already has made his decision that he would rather see the world with her kill himself in the process. Like, the
Yeah.
world deserves her, not him.
What I needed to happen in that scene, though, was for Anakin to be there and be like, this is what I wanted to do. This is you fulfilling my mission. My mission was to always save Padme, save the woman that I love, and you finally cracked that code. You figured out how to do it. I needed it, and I didn't get it.
It's poetry in the sense that in The Force Awakens he says, I'll finish what you started, grandfather. And he did. But, because, like you said, Anakin's whole thing was that he wanted to save, the people that he loved from death. And he couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And that was the path to the dark side. And here his son did it through love, and by giving himself over to love. But we didn't want it to happen this way.
And that's what I'm saying. I wish that the Jedi, the Jedi that apparently like exists beyond the living world, they could have helped him and like given like their force, like whatever is left of them, to Ben. Like, and through Ben, they heal Rey. Like, use him as like quote unquote a vessel then.
Yeah. The heroic theme that was playing before now is like super mournful as he's crawling to her.
Yeah.
He gets to her, he checks her pulse, and then he hugs her, which, like, by the way, is the first hug he's had in how many years?
Stop!
Yeah, he hasn't hugged anyone
At all.
in,
Like, take that
6+
in. Like,
years.
probably, I don't even know. His parents were MIA his whole childhood. And then he gets to Luke's temple. Probably didn't even hug anyone there. I don't know. I don't think Luke is not a loving person.
Did we tell you, S? He got attacked by a kitchen droid when he was 3 years old. This boy has been traumatized his whole fucking life.
Do you not see why I
Anyways.
cry? It's just like, I needed him to be happy. And he finally found that person and like that belonging that he always, was searching for. And like, it just like, he didn't get it. He got it for like a second and he knew like in his soul that yes, Rey chose him and he had that belonging, but anyways, I'm gonna start crying.
He's literally hugging her, and then you see him looking around as if he's looking around for guidance.
help.
He's literally begging the heavens, like, where are you now? Like, I need help. I need someone to help me.
Don't watch it again, please.
I have to. That is so sad.
It's like
sincerely gonna cry.
And it's so sad. Everyone has abandoned him. Even in this moment, people are still abandoning him. The people that supposedly love him are not there. They were there for Rey, but when it comes to him, silence.
And that's my thing. Like, I don't understand what was it for. Like, he was someone that needed that love. And, like, Leia even saw, like, the trauma, that, like, hit her not being there. Even Luke was like, I failed my nephew. Not failed my nephew, but I failed, Ben Solo.
Yeah.
Like, why weren't you there for him? You fully said that I'll see you around, kid. And you never did. This was your perfect opportunity, or, like, I guess the director's perfect opportunity to actually bring that home. And like actually Luke showing Ben like, I forgive you for what you did or whatever you have to say, but also here, let me help you out. Nothing. No one helped him. And that's what aggravates me too. I say it aggravate like a million times, but like this whole idea
It's aggravating.
aggravated me.
It is. Are you watching it, Ed?
Yeah.
Do you see him looking around? He's fucking alone. He is alone. And so all he's left
so
with is his
sad.
own person. And what does he do? In that moment, he realizes he would give up everything only for this woman to live on. So he gives her his life force because apparently that's limited. And the dyad doesn't mean no thing. The, power like life itself doesn't mean anything in this case because his life is limited. And he gives it to her. She wakes up. She gives, she holds his hand, which
And she
is,
smiles so big.
you can see in his eyes that he can't believe she's back.
Yeah.
And he looks at her with such love.
Yeah.
And she says Ben, and they kiss. And then he smiles, which again,
His smile.
first smile in probably years.
That's my favorite.
Yeah.
My favorite scene of them
That
too.
smile, it's just, it's so powerful. Like that's the moment you realize you've never seen him smile before, and
No.
it's like both sad and like so much joy at the same time.
Yeah.
It's like weird.
Because he honestly, like you said, he would rather see her live than be in a world without her.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's so sad because you feel that in that moment. He's happy that she's living on, but he's sad that he doesn't get to live with her.
And where does his body go?
Another fucking question we all have. Clearly he's not a
Yep.
Force ghost. Aldrin.
He doesn't get to be a Force ghost, apparently. He falls back, he dies, and he disappears, and Rey isn't even given time
To grieve.
mourn.
To actually be in touch with her emotions. Like you said, to pause. Don't get it.
Yeah.
What's a pause?
He's gone, never to be seen again, doesn't appear again. He's just I don't know. He's still being punished for what he did to this point. Rey is acting like everything's fine after that.
Yeah, she's just flying a spaceship like nothing.
I have another excerpt actually from the book, just to let you know that this was marketed as a very happy ending for a Disney movie, yet here's what Rey feels after he's died. She said, she dearly would have loved the chance to get to know Ben Solo. It felt like half of her was missing, and she supposed it was. The girl who had felt alone for all those years on Jakku had been part of a dyad the whole time. And just when she'd discovered that precious connection, that incredible oneness, it was ripped away. And then she says, a voice came to her through the force, clear and strong. I will always be with you, Ben said. She smiled. Let the truth of it wash over her. No one's ever really gone, she whispered. So, like, he's dead, but he does say, I will always be with you. But that's the last we hear of him. Like,
Unless,
we never see him
like,
again.
the Force as him as a Force ghost, and he's always with her in that sense. I don't know.
Half of her is ripped away. She literally describes it as that. Like, half of
because they are
away.
one. They are two that are one. I don't understand. They literally cannot live without each other. I don't understand what happened. Sorry, I'm just getting really angry again, and I'm gonna shut up.
Like, she goes back to the base, the resistance base. She's acting like everything's fine. She is still not told her quote-unquote besties who she really is.
Her family, apparently.
Yeah, and if I remember correctly in the book, there's literally a line about her saying, like, she's relieved that she'll never have to tell them. And it's like, so you're gonna lie your whole life about who you are and the fact that you've had this darkness in you.
Yeah.
And that you're scared of it.
That's exactly what she's gonna do. That's how they wrote her, apparently.
So what's the moral of the story? Don't be yourself, ever?
Hide who you truly are.
Pretend? Hide?
The heroine she never deserves to end up with someone that loves her and accepts her truly.
The people you deserve in your life are the people that wouldn't understand who you really are.
Yeah.
That wouldn't even try to understand. Because as we know it, like, if she was to tell Poe or Finn who she really is, do you think they would accept her?
No.
I think they would be afraid of her. Point blank.
Yeah.
They'll just be afraid of her and act differently around her. S, what do you think?
I think, how dare you make me watch these movies? I'm in my feelings.
You made me rewatch it again and relive the trauma. I have not watched these movies since 2019.
I get why.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Seth.
It's okay.
Yeah.
I lived, like, I had a good cry, and I haven't had a good cry in a while, so I guess it was good.
And the final moments of this movie.
Oh my gosh, can we not? The movie's done.
The music is so ominous. Don't you think? Like, when she's on, what the fuck is that planet called? Tatooine. The music is so ominous and, like, haunting, and you're like, is this a villain origin story or the end of a happy ending? I'm confused. Like, it's like, I don't know, it's, like, super weird and dark and childlike because, like, she's reverting fully back to TFA Rey.
Like, what was that slide? Like, I'm sorry.
Are you a child? Like, I thought we were past that.
She's no longer, that's the thing though, she's no longer her own person. She's not
a
grown woman anymore. Like, she got rid of, like, her gray robes and went back to, like, you know, the virginal white. She's no longer Rey that we knew.
And, like, TFA Rey, her one desire in life was to find belonging.
Yeah.
And from that excerpt that I read, she did find that belonging, and yet it was taken from her. Mm-hmm. So she was punished ultimately for wanting that with the wrong person, finding it with the wrong person, and so she ends up alone.
Well, quote unquote, the wrong person, but he wasn't the wrong person.
Of course, yeah.
He's actually the only one that understood her on a way, like, on a level that no one else will at all. No one else will understand her that way.
She'll never have that feeling again. She's back to feeling like she doesn't belong. She's back to hiding. She's back to being a child and regressing to those habits. Like, what?
And, like, the whole idea of burying it on Tatooine, which is, like, where, like, you know, everything started, it's just like, I know it's a nod to like the original fandom and like people that are all like, oh my gosh, Tatooine. But like, is no one like accepting that the lightsaber that she buried, Anakin's lightsaber, he hated Tatooine? He hated like the sands. Like, I don't understand why. No, I mean, like, it was, yes, it's a funny moment, but that was a lot, like, Tatooine was traumatic for him.
It's a horrible place for him. It's a traumatic place for him.
It's where all the trauma happened. So I don't understand why that was, like, where you decided to bury the lightsabers. Like, why couldn't it be on, like, Naboo? Or why couldn't it be literally anywhere else that, held meaning to, like, the Skywalkers?
But also, she's burying Leia's saber with his, and, like, it's pretty well known that Leia and Anakin never, like, got the chance to make up, and Leia never fully accepted who her father was. So it's like, it's kind of a fuck you to her, too.
Honestly, I don't know what they were going for. Clearly, they were trying to, like, you know, meet the needs of, like, that side of the fandom, but it just didn't resonate at all.
Because Tatooine means nothing to her. And she's walking around, like, looking at the homestead like it means something. And I'm just like, bitch, you don't know any of these people.
Yeah.
You don't know any of them.
It just was not. And it was it was a slap in the face to Anakin. It was a slap in the face to literally everyone.
Yeah.
But, I mean, hey, she got to experience Tatooine, where her adopted father and mom are from.
Yeah. Ben doesn't get to show up.
And he wasn't there, right? In this
little... No! It was literally like mom and dad, Luke and Leia, because they're a couple in the afterlife.
Her belonging is with dead people. That's what that means. Her family
and not
is
the dead person that actually mattered.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
Yeah.
And then what is the last sentence of this movie? End or suffering, please.
She says, Rey Skywalker. So that's my question. Like, what did you think of her taking that?
I wanted to barf. Like, Skywalker, really? Like, Luke was the person that actually, like, resonated with you and, like, you felt belonging there. I would have accepted Solo. I really would have accepted, like, her taking, like, even if it's after Han Solo. He was, like, her first, like, person, like, adult figure that, like, actually, like, felt like, you know, that understood her in a way. But also she's just, like, taking Ben's name, like his last name, Solo. I just feel like it would have made more sense. I don't like Skywalker, really? Anyways, end rant. What do you guys think about it?
I like that. Like, if she would have, because I felt like she had more of a connection with Han Solo than with like that fatherly figure type of relationship, and it was so nice, and it felt genuine, and I liked that too.
Genuine is a good word.
Yeah, they had their. It was special, and then the way she felt with Leia as well, like very motherly, and then like with Luke, it didn't seem like he was. I mean, he trained her in some, you know, but it never like that fatherly figure. It never felt like that. Yeah. So I would have liked that, like her, Rey Solo,
or maybe own up to Palpatine. Just be like, I'm Rey Palpatine. I don't know. Literally
like
anything.
Rework the last name into something good.
Exactly.
Into something positive.
Because now, like, she sees Palpatine as, like, this negative, like, presence. And in a way, I guess, if, like, you're looking at it in a different lens, you can say, like, the Palpatines won. Like, a Palpatine took over the last name of Skywalker. They erased the Skywalker line. Palpatine won.
Yeah. Palpatine is the last one standing.
Yep.
And has now adopted the Skywalker name. Like, what in the world?
I
don't like it.
I don't like it either. Plus, like, TLJ kind of made it obvious, because in TFA, you know, that line where Maz Kanata is like, oh, the belongings you seek is not behind you, it is ahead, and there's someone who could still come back. Her first instinct is to go, Luke. And Maz doesn't say anything. She doesn't confirm that. Yeah. And then the whole point of TLJ is for Rey to go on that adventure seeking that belonging from Luke. And to be proven that that is not where you're going to find it. He's a disappointment in that regard. If you seek that from him, you're seeking it in the wrong place. So it doesn't even make sense for her to take up that name because it's no, it was a failed thing. Like you guys didn't get along, and like even if you read the TLJ novelization, it makes it pretty obvious that like they don't get along.
They don't, and I don't know.
And you want to know what's more frustrating? When Leia dies, she has this thought where she says, I will give my Skywalker lineage to Rey, because apparently we divide ourselves in that way now. She literally says, I will give my Skywalker lineage to Rey, I will give my Solo lineage to Ben, and I will give my Organa
You're gonna say orgasm.
Organa lineage to Poe. So she's dividing herself up like that, even though it's like, you have one son, honey.
I don't understand why, like, your one son isn't, like, your
one heir, okay? Like, this is not something we choose. It's just he was born within that family. He has the baggage, okay? He's been carrying that fucking baggage.
He is your son. And you claim to love, like, I don't know, man. Like, I understand Poe could, like, I guess be, like, the foil. Like, if they wanted to, he would be, like, the foil to, like, Ben and, like, you know, like, just showing, like, I guess like, a son-mother relationship there, like, as, like, repairing whatever happened, or, like, maybe, like, her finding another way to, like, be a parent in that sense to someone else. But, like, they never even followed through with that either. So I don't understand why he's getting the Organa whatever lineage or whatever, what, her assets, like what is he getting?
I don't know, just like what comes with it or whatnot. Like it doesn't work that way. Plus, like, I'm sorry, but like the Skywalker lineage is not for Rey.
It's not.
It's for Ben.
It's
like,
Ben.
This is his family. You're literally being like, I'm taking that from you. Sorry, honey. You misused that. So we're going to give it to Rey instead. Because we prefer her. Because, remember, I don't want to make us sound even more bitter, but, like, I have to point out that they all turned on Ben when he showed a darkness, despite being a Skywalker Solo, despite being literally their own son. Yeah. And yet Rey, Palpatine, which supposedly Leia and Luke knew right away she was a Palpatine. Right? They totally knew. They were like, oh, but we sense the goodness in her, therefore we will train her. And it's like, but not your own son? Your own son, it was like, we're just gonna kick him off and like send him to Jedi Academy far away from us because we can't deal with this shit. But this like nobody Rey, we're gonna take her in, train her, love her, show her, you know, that she belongs.
It's just making me more mad.
No, yeah, when I heard that, I was like, really, Luke? Like, really? You're saying that? Okay. Yeah, this movie just makes me really bitter, and I'm sorry that it was a very negative episode, but I feel like in a way it's been therapeutic because I'm allowed to like shit on it as much as I wanted to. Point blank, I hated this movie. I despise it. I despise everything about it besides the Reylo and Ben Solo and Rey scenes. Some Rey scenes, not all of them, because they really butchered her character. That being said, I will drink. I just want to say my piece, and that is my piece. I'll drink now.
Well, how about we end it on a positive note, and each of us has to pick a favorite moment, a good, solid favorite moment that you will take from this movie and carry in your heart forevermore. You have to.
From this movie?
Yeah.
Their kiss.
Yeah.
The kiss.
Yeah.
The validation of Reylo with the kiss.
Yeah.
That and her little twirl scene.
I love that.
What was the moment that you said you were like jumping up and down and screaming? Like what moments were you talking about?
Oh yeah, when you watched this thinking it was a second.
There was two. I think it was that scene where she does her little twirl, and then I think it was the scene where she sees her dark self and he shudders. He has like a little shudder.
I love like he literally clutched his pearls in that scene. He was like. He was like...
Oh, and the
lightsaber.
Yeah, that was a badass. I replayed that scene a couple times.
I think for me, it's his smile.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's a moment I choose to carry with me forevermore. And nobody can... rip that smile out of my cold, dead hands, okay?
Yeah.
That smile lives within me, okay? I'm taking it. All right, well, see, we can be positive. We can do it.
I literally finished my whole drink.
I did too, and my water. So, all right. Well, this was a very, very long episode, so apologies for that. Hopefully it was mildly entertaining. If you hate this movie as well, hopefully you were like rage listening. But you know, we did point out the good stuff. Like,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
we don't love it, but like I said, there are moments of brilliance and, you know, great moments and beautiful moments and symbolic moments here and there.
That's fair.
All right. Well, Veronica, how did you like it? First time on a podcast.
I was very nervous, so hopefully you'll have me back again in the future and I'm not as
Of
nervous.
course.
Next time I'll take like a shot or a few shots of tequila just to get me.
All right. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it. For
did.
sure, we'll have you back whenever you want. If we're ever discussing something that you're interested in, then feel free to join us.
Thank you.
If you have anything you would like to add to our conversation, you can always find us online. We are on Twitter at the RTM Pod, as well as on Instagram at Romancing the Monsters Podcast. You can also find us on YouTube. If you just search for the name of our podcast, you should be able to find us. Email is romancingthemonsterspodcast@gmail.com, and TikTok is romancingthemonsterspod. And lastly, if you want to find me specifically, I'm on both Twitter and Instagram at Foes and Lovers.
And you can find me on both Twitter and Instagram at ButThisBook.
And you can find me, Seth, on both Instagram and Twitter at Pros with Woes. And also, please feel free to subscribe on any of the podcast platforms. And also, if you want to leave a review or a rating, you can do so on Apple Podcasts as well as Google. Spotify.
Somewhere.
I will get it right one of these days.
All right, so hopefully we'll see you next week. That's it.
Yeah.
Bye, guys.
Bye.